to allow for free parking. That is expected to begin later this month. Minneapolis city health officials, meanwhile, are scrambling today after federal funds were cut, forcing the closure of about 87 vaccination clinics. Luisa Pasosa Brandao manages the city's Minneapolis Health Department.
It was a shock. And so we're reeling a little bit, and we are trying to now go back and figure out how to do that, still to do some planning, and how can we maintain.
The clinics provide COVID-19 vaccines, flu shots, and Mpox vaccines. Last year, they provided hundreds of vaccinations in underserved communities. Legal experts weighing in on a case against a St. Croix County, Wisconsin assistant district attorney who is charged with threatening judges.
33-year-old Alec Ballo is charged with threatening 3 judges, telling a coworker the judges needed to bleed for decisions they made in cases where he was involved. Ironically, the judge assigned to his case is one of the judges that he threatened. Hamlin law professor David Schultz says there's definitely conflict of interest here, and the case will likely be moved out of the county.
He's facing real serious charges at this point of basically threatening judges, on top of which, as an attorney, he will face a whole series of sanctions that could very well lead to him losing his law license and his ability to practice law. So he's facing a lot of trouble right now.
Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Not sure yet how MSP might be affected, but Delta Airlines is announcing a reduction in their domestic flight schedule later this year. Kyle Potter with Thrift Free Travelers says the current trade war has created a lot of uncertainty.
Most people are saying, I don't know that I feel confident about booking a flight right now. For the first time since the depths of the pandemic, airlines can't bank on filling their planes. And when they can't bank on filling their planes, they're not just going to eat the losses.
And the Minnesota Twins will unveil Baseball Hall of Famer Joe Mauer's statue this Sunday ahead of the Twins-Tigers game. The statue comes after Mauer's induction last year to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. The St. Paul native was selected first overall by the Twins in 2001 out of Cretin-Durham Hall High School and played all 15 major league seasons with the club. WCCO News Time is 3:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Slowdown's a place for the afternoon as you travel across town in both directions between Cedar and 35W. West 94 slow into the work zone at 280 as you make way past Cretin. Eastbound slowing right out of the Lowry Hill Tunnel. Highway 36 eastbound watching slowdowns there right now as you come away from Cleveland Avenue to Dale Street. Tickets are available at TICasino.com or make a night of it with a hotel stay. Treasure Island offers the perfect escape with a variety of hotel rooms, package options, luxurious spa, action-packed gaming floor, and a variety of dining options. For tickets, more information, and to book a hotel stay, visit TICasino.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Pella Windows and Doors celebrating 100 years in business. I've been a customer for over 20 years. Great deal right now. $750 off your Pella project and 0% APR for 12 months. Check them out. PellaNorthland.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by Pella Northland Windows and Doors. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The scattered showers return tonight. It will be rain because it stays mild enough. 38 the overnight low. A little cooler tomorrow with a high of 50. We'll have a chance of those scattered showers early in the day. The warm-up kicks in Friday. 59 for the high. 68 the high Saturday. A shot at 70 still on Sunday.
Mostly cloudy right now. 56 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
You may have noticed we have issues. A lot of issues. Come help us talk about them here. News Talk 830 WCCO. Buckle up. Time for the ride home and the chance to get caught up on the day's news. Plus, whatever else he wants to riff on. This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
And here's the star of the show and your host, Jason DeRusha.
Are you ready? All right.
Now live on your radio and streaming to the world at WCCOradio.com and the Odyssey app. Here's Jason DeRusha.
Is it the art of the deal, the master at work, or is it the biggest WTF we've heard in a while? What is happening in our country? Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Oh, my goodness. If you haven't been following the news today, you are missing out. And also, congrats. Like, honestly, I don't know if this is good for my health. The stock market is going absolutely bananas. Over 40,000 points on the Dow Jones Industrial right now, up 7.8%. The stock market dropped like crazy when it thought Donald Trump had lost his mind and was going to wreck the economy in order to try to get jobs back on Main Street. And today, Donald Trump, right around noon, announced that he was going to roll back the tariffs. He was pausing on that. And so, of course, if you're on Team Trump, your response is, well, this was all part of his plan. It was just the art of the deal. It's the genius that is Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump told us the real reason why he rolled back the tariffs.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions.
I'm sorry? He said, what? They were getting a little bit what?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid.
I just want to hear what Dan's going to get for us to play from now until eternity is getting a little bit yippy. They were
getting yippy.
Yeah, man. When you're getting yippy, when sometimes we all have been there, you get a little bit yippy. We used to be a real country. We had real presidents. They were sort of boring. Most of them were boring. You wondered sometimes, like, did these guys, like, did they? And they're always guys. And now I think, like, I don't know. I have all the thoughts. You're like, could we have like a literal child as president? I know that's not constitutional, but that doesn't seem to stop us these days. Like, what? This is craziness. It's craziness. And well, multiple things going through my head. One, the change here is not as drastic, I think, as people are reacting to it like. So the tariffs on China are still in effect, and that is just escalating. And so I will say personally, what we decide to do as far as a policy with, say, Borneo or New Zealand is not that big of a concern to me. What we do with our giant trading partners is, and I'm not even saying right now whether I think this policy from President Trump is the right way to go or the wrong way to go. I am saying that this is no way to run a country, to just unilaterally enact policies by presidential fiat, watch the world react and freak out and come and kiss your ring and negotiate. Watch the stock markets go bananas. To me, the takeaway is to take nothing seriously. Just wait a couple of days. Tariffs, to me, have always felt like something that is fundamental towards Donald Trump. Where you say, this is what I believe. I believe that we're going to cause some pain in the markets, that we are going to make CEOs a little uncomfortable. But what we're trying to do here is bring jobs and manufacturing and that sector of the economy back to America. And coming up in the next hour, we will talk with the head of the Minnesota Precision Manufacturers Association, sort of get his take on this. But what is this? 651-461-9226. It is only a 90-day pause. did we used to have pauses so often in the policies? It seems like the legislature did this stuff, and then you'd kind of watch what happened. But I guess sometimes if Wall Street gets yippy, what are you going to do? Thanks, media, for fear mongering.
They were getting yippy.
Yeah. Were we fear mongering? Another texter. CCO is such a hypocrite. Talks 3 or 4 days in a row about the downturn. But when the market is up 7% one day, you don't talk about it. Huh? Let me say, look,
talking about it right now.
some of you guys are so crazy. What's amazing about the hardcore Trump sycophant is that you guys are so tough and so proud and so strong, and the bootlicking that goes on is unbelievable. It's so like the antithesis of most of the personalities of the people that I know who are this way. I think there is some joy and safety that comes in just whatever my guy does, it is right, and I can't even analyze it. Nothing about this was right. Nothing about this was good. If you really believe that this was the right thing to do, you knew from your advisors that the stock market was going to tank. You knew that companies were going to freak out. You knew that Americans who buy things were going to be nervous. All of this was absolutely predictable. So then today to say, well, I was watching things, people got a little yippy, so I thought we should put a pause on.
They were getting yippy.
That's a failure. It's a failure. Now, the result is probably right. Yeah. The fact that we're putting a pause on this. And let's hope we can get maybe a more sophisticated policy. And a policy that doesn't appear to be designed by ChatGPT, with lists of nations that we barely trade with, including, you've heard about the nation that is predominantly occupied by penguins that has a tariff on it.
Are we going to tariff the dire wolves too? Is that a thing? Can we do that? I mean, they're getting a lot of attention. I'm just saying.
It should be considered. It should be considered. So I can only talk about this show. I don't know what everybody else is talking about on everybody else's show. But we talked about the downturn. And then, honestly, the last couple of days, it's kind of been a nothing. There's been no downturn. So we didn't really talk about it. What does it tell you that the market is up 8% today on this dialing back? Is that a great victory? Is that a sigh of relief? Texters, he just made all his rich friends richer. The SEC should look into trades being made. You know, they are feasting with these swings. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if it's fair to say, like, I'm worried about everybody's retirement when the market goes down, people who are immediately retiring, and when it goes up, saying like, well, it's just the rich people getting rich. Like, I don't know. I think we're sometimes I think because what's going on is so wild and so unprecedented that we have no choice but to go to our talking points because we just don't even know how to analyze what's going on in front of us. Texture, I've decided that listening to WCCO, I can't even take WCCO seriously anymore. Bunch of damn yippies. I mean,
they were getting yippy.
Jason, stop before you lose your last couple of listeners. You are a fraud and you prove it daily. I don't know, man. Like the textures, you guys just like the bat signal goes out and it's like CCO is talking about Trump. Crazy over here. Crazy over there. This isn't that hard. Trump had a massive policy that had very predictable results. Those predictable results were awful. He got sick of seeing the market crashing and the bond market crashing. And so he rolled it back because he screwed up.
They were getting Yippy.
We were getting Yippy. Are you Yippy? 651-461-9226. I'll read more of your angry texts when we come back.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRusha coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's talk about love. Let's talk about generosity. Let's talk about kindness. And that, 3 words, describe Chris Lindahl. It's Jason for my friend Chris. We know there's so much uncertainty. We talk about that uncertainty every afternoon here on Drive Time. But when it comes to selling your house, getting the money you deserve, and being able to move forward with your life, there is a guarantee. And that guarantee is Chris Lindahl's guaranteed cash offer. We don't know what's going to go on with interest rates. We don't know what's going to go on with the housing market. We don't know if you do this repair at your home, if it'll be worth it or not. Chris Lindahl's guaranteed cash offer gives you a clear path to the finish line. It's quick. It's reliable. It's private. There's no commissions. There's no open house. There's no nonsense. When you accept a guaranteed cash offer, it's a guarantee. Your house will be sold. You will pick your closing date. You will pick your moving date. Chris Lindahl Real Estate has done this for 30,000 plus people. Let him do it for you. At least see if it's a good offer. Go to chrislindahl.com or you can call 763-401-SOLD. Terms and conditions may apply.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You'll feel better, you'll sleep better, and it's all coming to you for free. That's right. Jordana Green here for my friends at Mini Leaf. Mini Leaf products are free shipping all of April. That triple diamond pain cream is perfect for any pain you're having and maybe even any bug bites or a sunburn that you're having. Want to sleep better? Those Sleep Night gummies will definitely do it. Go to MINNELEAF.com. I use these products. They really help me through my cancer recovery. They help me get off my Ambien. Those Sleep Night gummies are a real charm. MINNELEAF.com. That's minileaf.com. Free shipping throughout the month of April. Tell them Jordana sent you when you go to minileaf.com. Free shipping all of April.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Why do you keep having this scumbag on? Wow. Noted scumbag.
Scumbag.
Sleaze bag is good too.
I prefer noted
noted scumbag. Yes. Right?
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
A lot of people enjoying the show in video form. Why not? We're here for you on X. If you're on X, my wife listens to us on X right now. I'm like, all right. Like, that's more convenient for her. We love that. We want to be wherever you need to be to hear the latest nonsense and news from us here. So check us out on X, on YouTube, where you can subscribe, and we'll edit little clips of the show into videos that you'll get. So check that out as well. Lots of comments on the WCCO Radio Facebook account today. Brian Haugen says some of his buds made out well. Trump's buds. What a joke. Duquois says since Trump took office, I lost $100,000 in my retirement accounts. I gained some back today, but I am not a happy camper. Let's go to Don in Cottage Grove. He is on the CCO Talk and Text line. Don, thanks for listening. Go ahead. What's your take on what's going on with President Trump and all of the back and forth with tariffs?
Well, I'm hearing an awful lot of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, coming from this channel.
How so?
Well, let's see. We put in the tariffs. The stock market goes way, way down.
Right.
Obviously, people lost money.
Yep.
But predictable, warned would happen. And then we looked at the gaps that were over the last 4 years and before that. I mean, you can go back to 2015. I think it was only at maybe 19,000. But anyways, besides that, we take a pause for 90 days.
Right.
Because there's 75 countries in line to cut deals. Not the ones you said, Cambodia and that. Big ones, Vietnam, Brazil, European Union, not China. We keep the tariffs on China. We start racking up these deals with the people that wanted to cut deals.
Right.
We take a pause.
So do you think this was the plan all along? I mean, why? This is what I don't understand. What you're saying,
the plan all along has been for 25 years. Go back to Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. There's videos of them talking about how we had to get this trade deal under control. No president touched it.
Right.
Donald Trump ran on this.
But why not? Why not do it more targeted? Why not go after China? Fine, defensible. I get it. Why not pick one industry? Say, I'm going to work on the auto industry. Let's try to bring that back. This feels like a bunch of 26-year-olds went to ChatGPT, looked up a list of every country, and figured out some goofy calculation of whatever the trade imbalance was, and just slapped that number on it. And it's so wild where, like, you look at it and say, I wonder if this is Trump just trying to get a deal, which I don't know that is the way we should be doing our international trade policy. Throwing out numbers and policies and just signing it into order, and let's see what happens.
I would trust a guy that has been business his whole life, not a politician, over the fact that everybody that comes in as a politician with $100,000 salary, $150,000 salary becomes multimillionaires.
Can Donald Trump ever screw up, or is it always just everybody's out to get him?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
He can screw up, but this isn't the screw up. This is what you call working a trade for America. Everybody that really knows, and I'm not saying, I mean, sometimes I don't even approve of some of the things he's doing, but he's doing what he ran on to change things in this country, and it will turn around. Everything's going to turn around.
I agree.
For the last 4 years, you had to be comatose to not realize what happened in this country.
Don, I do agree. I do agree with you that he said this is what he was going to do, and he's doing it.
Yes, and now just give it time, and as we start seeing people get in line, start cutting deals, not the Cambodia and whoever other country you said, big ones, Vietnam, Brazil, European Union. Eventually, China will realize they have no choice, and they're going to have to cut fair deals. Like I said, all you got to do is Google videos from Schumer, Pelosi, all them, if you're going to go Republican, Democrat on it. And look, they all have been saying it for years and years, and no one wanted to touch it. He's doing it now, and in 2 days, people panicked because of the market. Now, all of a sudden, it went right back up, and now we're like, he did it on purpose. This is setting something up for long.
Well, I don't think. Thank you, Don. Thank you for calling and for call again. I don't think he did this to manipulate the market. I think he freaked out because the market has been going down and down and down. And the market has always been his scoreboard. And when the market is down, 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 directly because of his policy, then he takes the L. Let's go to Bill in New Hope. Bill, thanks for calling CCO. I do think the people who yell Trump derangement syndrome, I do think that is a thing. There are people who say whatever Donald Trump does, it's automatically wrong because it comes from Trump. I do think that runs both ways, though, that there are people who just worship whatever Trump does. It's fine. Bill, go ahead.
Oh, these MAGA Republicans. I think we need to fill the jug up with more Kool-Aid because they got the Jim Jones syndrome going without the cyanide. But anyways, do you know if an ordinary citizen, or does it take some type of institutional legal procedure to start commitment procedures to have someone put in an asylum for the criminally insane? Of course, I'm talking about the Pumpkinhead in the White House. This guy is one sick puppy, and he needs to, well, either that, another possible answer to this is, you know, when a little toddler or kids start getting real irritable and crying, it usually means it's time for a diaper change.
Right.
I think that might be Trump's problem too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I had little kids, but it's also possible he's hungry. You know, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've raised a lot of good points, Bill. Thank you. I mean, the texters are amazing. Dude on the phone is deluded, in denial about the damage. Another texter. So to the caller, you trust a guy who has filed bankruptcy 13 plus times and he's going to lead us out of this situation. I just think you have to take the L, right? Like, this was a massive screw up. The market's freaked out. Now, if you really thought that what you were doing was right, wouldn't you just tell the markets, look, I'm here for Main Street, not for Wall Street. I'm bringing jobs back to America. This will work. And I don't care what you do. That's not what he did. What he said as to why he changed his mind today after this morning telling everybody to be cool. That was his quote this morning, be cool. By 2 this afternoon, he says,
they were getting yippy.
You're getting yippy. You're getting yippy. 3:31. Just stay cool, everybody. Don't get the yips with us. Tracy Perlman would join us in just a minute. We are going to talk about boredom. Tracy is trying to defend boredom, and we'll get into that when we come back here on Drive Time.
Russia returns shortly with more of Drive Time on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Can I give a testimonial from my mother-in-law? So my mother-in-law texted me yesterday because she brought her husband, my father-in-law, to Tarine Dermatology. And so my mother-in-law is like, you know, you're always talking about Tarine. I want people to know that we love Dr. Mohiba Tarine. She made sure she took care of Dad. She is amazing, so caring. All of her staff is great. The drive to Roseville is worth it. Okay, this is the text from my mother-in-law. But you will get this same feeling when you experience Tarine Dermatology. If you go to the website, you can find a Tarine location near you. And just this week, they've opened 2 new locations, 9 spots. They're in Lakeville now. They're in Lindstrom as well. Healthy skin is so important. Your risk of melanoma, new melanoma diagnosis in this state, we're in the top 3 because we love getting outside when it's nice. And so many of my fellow Gen Xers spend a little too much time in the tanning bed back in the day. Go see the experts. Dr. Mohiba Tarine will take care of you and your family the same way she takes care of me and my family. Tarine is TAREEN dermatology.com.
Some things in life just aren't reliable, like the check engine light that only comes on after you've broken down. That motion sensor faucet in the airport bathroom?
When was this building built? The 40s?
Like that buddy who swears he'll help you move, but on the day of? Trust isn't given, it's earned. For over 100 years, when it's mattered most, Minnesotans come here. News Talk 830, WCCO.
You doing some spring cleaning? It's Jason here for Window Nation. Let's spruce up around your house, especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on right now. There is no limit to how much you could save. And if you buy a house full of windows, they're throwing in a free entry door too. Plus, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. You got to hurry, though. The sale ends soon. Don't wait. They'll bring the showroom to your house at 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Problems for 35W southbound near Hennepin Avenue. It's a semi that has rolled over onto its side, and some of the contents has spilled onto the shoulder into the right lane and up on the embankment there. So the cleanup is underway. The slowdowns are in place as you come down from Highway 36, and it could be a while before things are cleared out of the way. Traveling 35E southbound, some flowing through St. Paul, heading down toward Highway 13, heading into the work zone for I-94, both directions slow. Westbound at Snelling, eastbound slows right through the Lar Hill Tunnel. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Gutman Law, wills, trust, and probate law at gutmanlaw.com. Bring us Chris Schaefer.
Scattered rain showers back in play tonight, 38 the overnight low. Slightly cooler tomorrow. A cloudy day with a high near 50s. Still some of the scattered rain early in the day. Partly cloudy, 59 Friday. We're up into the upper 60s Saturday. 70 a possibility on Sunday. Breezy both days. We could see some rain on Sunday as well.
Right now, the sun is out. 59 in downtown Minneapolis on CCO.
Is Drive Time with DeRusha.
He does an incredible job, and he's not only a great announcer, but an even better person. So,
wow.
DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Yes. That liner is Dan Cook's brother, Mark.
He's on this radio station more than I am.
It's a little hurtful.
A little bit. I'm a little offended.
Mark,
and the fact of it is, he's not even talking about me in that cut. He's talking about Jimmy Erickson. Very upset.
The way we play it, it sounds like he's talking about me.
Right. Well, we know that's not possible. So that's the joke. See,
Tracy Perlman, like, what am I doing to get this? Like, I'm just minding my own business here.
You're so innocent.
Huh.
Come on.
Somehow.
You were expecting sympathy there? What were you? What was your expectation?
Stop getting so yippy.
Yeah. That's
Let it happen. Just chill.
I like a plain spoken president. I like a politician saying things the normal way, you know? Yippee.
At least he wasn't like, bruh. Calm down.
Is this where things are going, you think? Like, because this is how, like, Seth, my 19-year-old, talks to me. Bruh.
Bruh.
And I'm like,
my 10-year-old godson. I'm like, dude. I'm like, Auntie Tracy, maybe?
Do you go by Aunt Tracy? Do you go by Ms. Perlman? Like, how do you want kids to talk to you?
Aunt Tracy. I grew up at a house where my parents did not have my friends call them Mr. or Mrs. Perlman, and I never called my friends' parents that either. So I'm very cool with kids calling me Tracy. My godsons call me Aunt Tracy, and then their neighbor kid who lives across the street calls me Miss Aunt Tracy, which is the cutest.
That's adorable. That is adorable. I always feel weird about it with and now it's too late, right? Like my kids are essentially adults.
It's been established.
But because on TV, I was Jason, like it felt weird for me to make them go Mr. DeRusha. It never was my thing.
Yeah, I have.
And it was growing up like you. Yeah. It was all Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or whatever.
Yeah, I do have one friend who insists that her daughter call me Miss Tracy, and that's fine. You're the parent. It's your rules. So,
yeah.
Whatever.
I'm down with that. Like the parent gets to pick for sure. Like I'm never gonna be like, no. Call me Jason. No, if somebody
please call me Majesty. Please of Plymouth.
Absolutely not. And I also think like ultimately it doesn't matter, right? Like these are just part of the ways that like the world sort of moves forward. I don't think like this is why kids today aren't as written. No, it's just like it is what it is.
Yeah, do you? You can make up a nickname for me too. People at the station call me Stace, so it is what it is.
They call you Stace? Why?
Sid Hartman used to call me Stace, and it was like close enough, and then it became Stace because we were super close. The photographers heard it, and now Frank and Amelia and a lot of the photographers call me Stace or Stacy, Pat Kessler. So I respond to anything.
I mean, given some of the nicknames he had for other people, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah.
It was close. I think it was a sign of respect. So yeah, I'll take it.
Tracy Perlman is a executive producer of Mornings, the morning day part over at Channel 4. You're working my old hours now. Well, worse. Your hours are worse than mine.
Yeah, I'm in a little earlier than you were. I'm in at 1 a.m. Should I be sharing that? Should I tell people when I'm on the road?
Yeah. I think it's fine. It's fine. If someone wants to work that hard, I mean, honestly.
Right.
I don't know.
But you know what? It would. Thank you. Actually, thank you for paying attention to me.
Honored that you care that much.
Yeah,
I think that's lovely. You sent me a story about why it's okay for kids to be bored. I thought this was super interesting because when I was you're 10 years or so younger than I am. When I was a kid, though, I was bored a lot.
Were you, but like, is it boredom or it just wasn't overstimulation? I think kids are way too overbooked now with schedules. I was overbooked as a kid, and I know my parents are listening, so they're probably like, "Oh, gasp!" But you've got sports and schools and tutoring and a job and 900 things. Like, what did you do in the summers? Did you just in the yard? Did you ever just watch TV? Did you have to entertain yourself? Gosh forbid. Like, kids don't know how to do that. Adults don't know how to do that.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because as an adult, I find it hard for me to just let my mind rest, let myself rest.
I love it. I disassociate. This is probably not a healthy trait, but I will just like sit in my car sometimes when I get home and just give myself a few minutes of nothing.
Do you like pull in a garage or you're just sitting in silence?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like once I turn my car off, you know, like before I grab my bag and whatever, and just kind of like finish letting my thoughts run. Or if I go for a walk, I won't have I will realize I won't have my music on for a little bit. Or sometimes I'll just sit down on the couch, and even though the TV's on, I'm not paying attention to it. It's just nothingness. And it is so nice because all day long my brain is running and I'm juggling 10 different balls in the air, and I've got 5 different projects, you know, working, and it's just really nice. And maybe that's the overstimulation, but I also think sometimes it's nice to just go, I don't have plans today. I might read a book. I might just go to a coffee shop and do a crossword puzzle. I might just see if anybody wants to do something. And I don't think people know how to do that now. I don't think they know how to just sit. When you go on vacation, do you sit at the pool or sit at the beach and wander the city? Or do you have to be scheduled to the max?
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good point. I know, Dan, like you've been sort of intentional about creating these sort of spaces for you.
Yeah, especially over the last couple of years.
But that's kind of new, right?
Camping trips. Well, I mean, it's new in terms of the venue, in terms of getting out into nature and having that kind of quiet alone time. I am a black belt in finding alone and quiet time for myself. In fact, I probably do it far too much for my own mental health. But yeah, getting out into nature and then connecting with nature and with creation that way is a new facet of it for me.
It's when parents think back to the COVID time, like obviously, I don't know, I always hesitate to say anything that was nice about COVID because it was bad. But the fact that like all the activities were canceled and kids had to sort of figure out some stuff, like as a parent, you tried to like, I don't know, like let's do this thing or let's talk about this, or we were, watching movies. I count watching movies as unstructured versus being on a device, which constantly is demanding your attention, but it was kind of nice to have those moments. It's true. Well, the research shows that like the kids, when we don't give kids that unstructured, independent, quote unquote, boredom time, that it doesn't allow their brains the ability to like create creativity. It just doesn't know how to do it.
No. And it's the same. They say now that like, if you just kind of like wander off when you're thinking about stuff, like that's okay too. And that it actually creates that space to refocus and get, reprogrammed in and tuned into what it is you're either trying to learn or trying to accomplish, which is nice because we've all been there, especially when you're working, like, your mind just starts to like lag.
Yeah.
And they say taking that break, disassociating, let your mind wander for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, that break is needed to just reset.
Tracy Perlman is with us. Tracy, I read an article today called "I Studied Hooters Girls for a Living. Here's what I learned about their well-being." I will, and believe me, I studied that article intently.
Thank you for reading my article. I didn't know who was that was part of my
I've spent much of the day studying. So we will talk about this. You have some made-up jobs, just like this one. So we'll talk about that. Stand by. We'll do it in a minute. Tracy Perlman here on CCO.
Drive Time with Duresha is back after this on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I was at Surdyk's Liquor I've been there twice in the last week. That's the beauty of the Surdyk's experience. It's Jason here for my friends at Surdyk's, family owned, 91 years, getting it done in Northeast Minneapolis. Now, look, a lot of us are uncertain about like what the impact is going to be of our favorite beverage, right? Maybe you get it from overseas. Maybe it will be impacted by the cost of aluminum for cans. The reality is Surdyk's is fully stocked and zero tariff impact on anything over there right now. So consider that if you're in a situation where maybe you want to just not have to deal with your headspace thinking about any of this stuff. I went to Certix the other day to go to the cheese shop. And my gosh, the cheese selection from all over the United States and all over the world is unreal. And that grocery store, they've got grab-and-go sandwiches and salads that are absolutely delicious, and my favorite chocolate brownie in town. Now, I was at Sidebar on Saturday afternoon, where brunch is now part of the equation at the restaurant. So I'm talking about cheese shop, I'm talking about the liquor store, and they've got a restaurant. It is the total package at the corner. I call it the Corniversity. It's the corner of University and Hennepin. You can shop online. They'll deliver to your home. It's Certix.com.
Hi, this is Adam Saba, third generation at Dodge of Burnsville. As a business owner, you need commercial vehicles that have the power you need, room for your gear, and service you can count on. Let me introduce you to Business Link at Dodge of Burnsville, where we take the hassle out of owning and maintaining your vehicle. We offer next available bay, free loaners, qualified technicians, large lifts, and extended service hours to get you back on the job. Nobody sells more commercial Ram trucks than Dodge of Burnsville. That's why we are the King of Ram. Clifton 35W or kingofram.com.
Want to try something new on your exterior? All Around has the tools, and we're good with our hands. Those clean lines, that craftsmanship. We do residential, commercial. We even offer financing. We're not cheap, but we're worth every penny. Let's lay down some siding and shingles. We're ready to go. Are you?
All around, we get it done and we do it right.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit, 800-329-3737. That's 800-329-3737.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Problems on the north side of the metro for southbound 35W at Hennepin Avenue, the scene of a semi that has rolled over onto its side. The cleanup is underway to empty out the contents of the trailer and get it into another truck. In the meantime, right 2 lanes are shut down. The traffic is down to a single lane as a result, and it is stop and go as you come down from Highway 36. Tack 20 minutes or better easily on the ride there. West 94 slowing into Minneapolis as you move in from Snelling Avenue. 35E northbound, watching slowdowns there as you move between Victoria Street heading up to Wheelock Parkway. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw and Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
The weather is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. Tonight, some scattered rain showers, low of 38. Tomorrow, those showers end early, high of 50. Friday, 59. 68, 70 over the weekend. How about that? Enjoy it. 59. It's nice out on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Our friend Tracy Perlman joins us every week. She's behind the scenes big shot over at Channel 4. But we love that she tells it how it is.
Yeah.
As you did when you saw this story about Hooters. The headline in, I believe this is the New York Post, right? I mean, who else? Who else but the New York Post?
Yeah.
This person was interested in studying servers at restaurants to check out the dynamic. This is a psychology professor at the University of Tennessee who spent some, is this a dream job, you think?
Who am I to judge journalistic integrity?
Mm-hmm.
As we discussed last week, I went to Target Field to try the new foods because I sometimes cover the team and I need to understand the ins and outs of attending a baseball game.
That's why. That's for work.
Yes, journalistic integrity. If this is his passion, unveiling the truths at restaurants, then go get it.
It's heroic.
You do it. Yeah, someone has to do it.
We're in sort of this anti-college, anti-research, anti-study environment. And I'm sick of it. It's time for more research on this.
You know what else I learned in the article? Because I did read it. I didn't just look at the pictures.
Oh.
I found that a lot of these women have big dreams. They want to go to school.
Okay.
They're for college. They have bills they have to pay. And this is where they're choosing to make their money. And as a former waitress at a sports bar where we wore full pairs of pants and long polos, I support them and hope that they made big tips.
Why do you think these restaurants don't work in Minnesota? I don't think, do we?
It's cold here 9 months out of the year, Jason.
That may be it. You made a list of other made up jobs, is that right?
I just thought, what would I want to do? Top of the list being a Backstreet Boys historian. I would thrive.
Very good.
Thrive. I thought McDonald's Diet Coke quality controller.
Very important work.
I would do very good at that. Perhaps the TikTok shop product tester. Those targeted ads.
Yeah, they're so good.
See the good. I will test them. Professional beach walker.
Okay. Yeah. For safety reasons.
Safety reasons. Yeah. And then a cursed object shopper. Let me find your magical cursed items so you can send them to your haters.
I like that. I have a lot of haters. I need some cursed items to send out to people. I think this would be very effective.
I'll pack you up a box.
Tracy Perlman, we'll see you next week. Thanks, Tracy.
Remember how crazy selling a house used to be? Spending months getting it ready and letting strangers in for open houses? Those days are over. Because today, the smart sellers are accepting a guaranteed cash offer on their house. Get yours today at chrislindahl.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's talk about professional turf. It's Jason here for the people who take care of my lawn. The weather is going to change this weekend. You're going to feel it. You're going to want to get outside. And when you're outside, think of ProTurf. ProTurf can take care of your lawn. They'll make it weed-free. They'll make it thick and green and the envy of the block. That's what they did to mine last year. They come to your house. They do an estimate. They are unbelievable. They also should be your first call before you turn on your irrigation system because the ProTurf irrigation experts can come out, identify potential leaks or breaks or problems, saving you money and saving you water. And while you're outside raking or doing whatever you're doing, think about upgrading that landscaping. ProTurf has certified landscape designers, and that landscape design is at no charge when you purchase a landscape project from ProTurf. You deserve it. You deserve it. Make your home the way you dream of it. You can find out more at professionalturf.com or call 952-469-8680.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Well, the joy of early bedtimes. And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at californiapsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Your information station is News Talk 830 WCCO and 102.9 KMNB HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Always streaming on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Cheers on Wall Street ending on a positive note for a change after the president paused tariffs on most nations. Kelly O'Grady of Money Watch.
This was the single biggest day for the Dow in terms of a rally since 2020. And you really saw it in tech stocks that had been getting hammered, which, by the way, is good news for your 401k.
Linda Kenyon has more on the president's decision from the White House.
The president says most of his trade tariffs are now on hold.
Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate. Because I told them, if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate.
Trump says nations that did not respond by raising tariffs against the United States have been reaching out to negotiate. Even China, he says, wants to make a deal. They just don't know how to go about it. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Ramy Inocencio reports there are other measures China could take in this trade war.
Beijing right now is weakening its currency. And the reason for this, how this is helpful for China, is that it makes China's exports cheaper against other countries. There are other things that China is signaling in terms of propping up the markets.
Federal judges in 2 states are blocking the Trump administration from using a rarely used statute for deportations. CBS's Stacey Lynn has that.
Judges in both New York and Texas have granted temporary restraining orders blocking the administration from moving 5 Venezuelans out of the country until they can fight the government's attempt to deport them under the Alien Enemies Act. 3 of the men are being detained in a facility in Texas, the other 2 in New York. All of the men were identified as belonging to the Tren de Aragua gang, a claim they deny. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
The rain-swollen Ohio River in Louisville, Kentucky is at its highest level in years. Much of the small town of West Point has been swamped. Patsy Chapman remained in her home despite being surrounded by brown, murky water.
It's my home. It'll always be my home. The town, it's my family, and I don't want to lose that.
The floodwaters are slowly receding. Rescue workers in the Dominican Republic are still looking for possible survivors from the roof collapse at a nightclub. The death toll is at 124. It could still climb. Hundreds were injured. Ukraine said today it's identified more Chinese soldiers fighting for Russia. Israel's defense minister says his army is seizing large areas of Gaza and incorporating them into buffer zones, which will then be cleared of inhabitants. Israel says it's to force Hamas to release hostages. Again, on Wall Street, the Dow finished up nearly 3,000. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up. Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, 59 degrees now at 4:03.
I'm Laura Oakes. Hundreds of Minnesota veterans making their voices heard at the state capitol today.
Trent Dilks is with the Disabled American Veterans of Minnesota, leading the charge in St. Paul on Veterans Day at the Capitol, demanding that lawmakers don't use them as pawns in the budgeting process. He says they are facing difficult times, though, with the possibility of funding cuts.
The commissioner in his testimony stated this means that veterans will die waiting for beds that are empty because staffing cannot be supplied.
They are also asking lawmakers to address other key issues like food insecurity, protection against predatory claims, and tax relief for veterans with disabilities. Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
After 5 years of decline since the George Floyd riots, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry is promising what he calls buds of progress for the city's uptown neighborhood this year. Fry telling WCCO's Chad Hartman small, locally owned businesses will be opening up, and he's excited about some creative ideas and investments on the horizon.
It's going to be coming back, but it won't be everything one big burst all at once. And here's the ask that I've got. When those small and local businesses do open, good God, go to them.
In the meantime, Fry says the city is going to temporarily experiment with shutting off the parking meters on a couple of blocks to allow for free parking in Uptown. That is expected to begin later this month. The Minneapolis Health Department is facing a difficult situation after losing critical federal COVID-19 funds.
When the federal government terminated $226 million in grants to the Minnesota Department of Health last month, it also halted work at the free vaccine clinics operated by the Minneapolis Health Department. Luisa Pasosa Brando says what most concerns her is that it's prevented them from fulfilling childhood vaccinations.
That is going to impact our vaccination rates, and we already are not where we would want to be with most childhood vaccinations.
The move has closed down a total of 21 local vaccine clinics, and as of September of 2024, 30% of Minneapolis's 6-year-olds were still missing their basic childhood vaccinations. In downtown Minneapolis, I'm Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830 WCCO.
MSP is a big Delta Airlines hub, and today the airline announced it's planning to scale back service.
Although flights overseas are still selling strong, it's domestic flights that will be minimized. Kyle Potter with Thrifty Traveler.
Flying within the United States as well as up to Canada, down to Mexico. That's where they're starting to see some trouble of, kind of everyday travelers as well as, corporate travelers who are putting off booking those trips.
Those cuts shouldn't have a massive effect on MSP.
I wouldn't think so, but I don't want to rule that out either, especially, if this does take a couple of weeks and the trade war and, the economic uncertainty, especially in the stock market, continues to drag on or gets even worse. The changes that Delta makes could be even worse than what they indicated today.
Potter also said Delta probably won't be the only airline to instill changes. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
45W southbound Hennepin Avenue. It's a semi that has rolled over. It is laying on its side. The cleanup is underway, and it's going to be a while before. It'll probably remain, the roads right two lanes will probably remain closed throughout the rest of the rush hour, so be prepared for it. Again, South 35W at Hennepin Avenue. Right two lanes closed, traffic single lane.
Minneapolis.
Things are packed and stacked. It all begins back at Highway 694. Watching slowdowns there between Lexington and 252. 94 northbound jamming up as move past 49th toward 252. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Brainerd International Raceway presents the GSTA Rod and Custom Spectacular April 12th and 13th at our new location, Canterbury Park Expo Center in Shakopee. Visit GSTA-Rod-Custom.com for discount tickets and more information. Free parking too.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by the GSTA Rod and Custom Spectacular, April 12th and 13th. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The scattered showers return tonight. It will be rain because it stays mild enough. 38 the overnight low. A little cooler tomorrow with a high of 50. We'll have a chance of those scattered showers early in the day. The warm-up kicks in Friday. 59 for the high. 68 the high Saturday. A shot at 70 still on Sunday.
Mostly cloudy. We are up to 59 right now at News Talk 830 WCCO.
If it's on your mind, it's on our airwaves. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie. Just DeRusha. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DeRusha.
Streaming live on YouTube, streaming live on X, streaming live on Facebook. Glad to have you listening on the radio, streaming on the Odyssey app. We will be doing our very popular Enough segment coming up at 5:30 today. And I tell you this now because the theory of enough is that it's cathartic. It just lets you, whatever's bugging you, you just get it off your chest. The sillier, the better, but we take the serious. You name it, we take it. And if you use the Odyssey app, AUDACY, the Odyssey app, right next to the spot where you listen live to WCCO, you can send us a voice message. You can do that whenever during the show, so you don't have to sit on hold or wait through commercials or whatever. You can just share your thoughts, and they come right to Dan and I. So Odyssey app, talk back button. We love to get your messages. I read all your texts. We put some of your calls on the air. You know, we're judicious about this. Is the genius of Dan Cook. He is in charge of making sure. Well, we have a different opinion on calls. Dan, I don't want to express your opinion.
Okay. Why don't you express what
how about I don't?
You express,
what do you look for?
No, because I'm not sure what difference you're referring to. So I need to know that before I can really fully express what my...
So I would say that Dan, generally speaking, likes insightful callers that can be additive to the conversation.
I would agree with that so far.
I like the crazier the better.
No, I don't dislike crazy calls.
Oh, okay. We're on the same page.
Yeah, no, I
just think you like insightful calls.
I do appreciate insightful calls. I also appreciate calls that I know are going to get you going.
Yes.
That's, it's all about getting a reaction. It's all about
if you can get me, getting me going is great.
Yeah.
Some days I'm easier to get going than others. Some days I'm very reasonable and I listen. No?
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm like, well,
maybe
what other,
yes, maybe
what
no.
other days are there? I would say that's most of the day.
Usually pretty reasonable. You never know. Sometimes I freak out. Bill on Facebook said that he could hear us partying in the studio because I had the microphones on. So worth checking out our stream, I think, if for no other reason. People are often amazed at all the stuff that Dan Cook is doing during the show. He's taking calls. He's reading the text line. He's playing all the sound, everything. He's got this giant, scary board in front of him. And sometimes he's like uploading podcasts while the show is going.
Editing audio.
Right. So all of this is going on.
Yeah.
I am in charge of the video.
Yes.
And the video production here is a webcam on a tripod for me, the webcam in Dan's Chromebook.
Yes.
And some other random webcam that I found and put on a tripod that I own that's connected to my laptop. And that is the Laura Oaks camera for the newscast. And so the problem with the Laura Oaks camera is that sometimes I forget to mute it. So you can hear whatever nonsense is going on in the studio. Anyway, I'm in charge of this stuff. And so if the visual part gets messed up, it's on me. Luckily, the commenters are nice enough to try to protect us from ourselves. And we'll say like, hey, we can hear you guys. We appreciate that. But it's kind of fun to watch. And if you give us a subscribe on YouTube, our team, which is one guy, we don't really have a team. I just try to make it sound more impressive.
Sure.
Matt will edit this show into videos, and then you can watch the videos later. So it's pretty good. Bill, who sent us the comment on Facebook, we appreciate that. I want to talk about one of the most impossible decisions that any community can face. And that is about sex offenders. City of Brooklyn Park says we don't want any more. We got too many. We have 19 level 3 offenders registered, the most of any city in the state outside of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and it's not fair. Bloomington has just one. And Bloomington has a larger city than Brooklyn Park. And so, too much. We don't want them anymore. I will say this. If I were the mayor of Brooklyn Park, I would want 0 convicted sex offenders living in my city. If you wanted to move right next door to me and you were a convicted sex offender, I would be looking into how I can make it so you don't live next door to me. Nobody wants a convicted sex offender to live next door. And yet, these are not life sentences. And we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out. In Minnesota, you are allowed to set some residency restrictions on a case-by-case basis based on their crime. 18 cities in Hennepin County have some restrictions. In Brooklyn Park, they're one of the 27 that do not. I go back and forth on this. I have to be honest, and maybe you have an opinion at 651-461-9226. Because it's the only category of crime that we make it so dang hard for you to reintegrate to society. In those 27 Hennepin County cities where there are no restrictions, and those cities, by the way, if you wonder if it's your city, it's Bloomington has no restrictions, Brooklyn Park, New Hope, Minneapolis, Medina, Hopkins has no restrictions, Golden Valley. Rogers. So in Robbinsdale and Rogers and Richfield and Eden Prairie, a sex offender could live next door to a park. Now, on the surface of that, that just sounds crazy, doesn't it? But if you're going to let people out of prison, is it productive to have a bunch of restrictions about where they can live? Is it productive in trying to get people to maybe be on the right path, to make their life miserable? I don't know. I don't know. What I'm telling you is the hypocrisy of talking about this, because if it were next door to me, I would not want a level 3, the worst of the worst sex offender to move in next door. But I also don't think these should be life sentences in prison. So what do we do with people? And is it fair for one city like Brooklyn Park to have such a disproportionate number of people? Now, why are the sex offenders living in Brooklyn Park instead of living into Bloomington? I don't know. Maybe they have family members there. Maybe they have a support system. Maybe they have a job. Like, are we supposed to assign people where they live? Like, I guess I just don't know what the solution is. To give you a sense for like how big this is, Brooklyn Park with 19, Rochester has 16, Duluth has 15. Most other large metro cities have fewer than 3, according to Fox 9, which did a great story on this last night. I don't know. I mean, if we could, maybe you'd make all of these life sentences. And we've tried in this state, right? We've tried all sorts of crazy stuff. We've tried the civil commitment. Basically, everything we try to punish sex offenders more severely than what the actual crime calls for gets thrown out. So you got to face with the reality. How do you do it? I don't know that I have a good idea. If I were Brooklyn Park, though, I don't blame them. It feels unfair to have such a concentration there. If you've got ideas, I'd love to hear. We're going to break. It is 4:18. Don't forget to send us your enough. Use that voice talkback feature. Maybe it's traffic. Maybe it's that rolled over semi truck that JP's been talking about. We'll keep you up to date all throughout. I'll tell you, my enough is related to the Timberwolves and the Twins based on last night's game. Drive Time coming back in just a minute.
We need a quick pit stop. Then Jason DeRusha continues on News Talk 830 WCCO.
By the Art is celebrating 30 years this spring with their anniversary sale, April 8th through the 19th. Save even more on their direct-to-you pricing with special anniversary offers on their premium maintenance-free outdoor furniture. And for one day only, this Saturday, April 12th, don't miss their biggest display sale ever, happening at the factory showroom in Jordan. Save 20 to 50% on over 900 display pieces. That's from 8 to 4, but come early for the best deals. Learn more at buytheyard.net or visit any showroom for more details.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Spring. Tried cleaning your air ducts and floors? Helps with allergies. Who has time? Use Coit. They clean air ducts, hardwood floors, upholstery, blinds, carpet, all the stuff that makes spring allergies worse. Great price and guarantee.
Oh, maybe I'll give them a...
Here, use my phone.
Schedule your spring cleaning today and get 40% off. Call 800-FOR-COIT. That's 800-367-2648. Coit. Clean is new. Minimum charge applies. Discount doesn't apply to service charge, restoration, or commercial services. Restrictions apply. Call 800-4COIT for details.
I'm John Taft, Vice Chairman of Baird. For over 100 years, Baird's people and expertise have made a difference in the financial advice and services we provide. Our experts on 3 continents combine diverse backgrounds and perspectives to meet your needs. Being nationally recognized as a great place to work helps Baird attract the best people in our industry to advise you. Experience a different kind of financial partnership. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdTwinCities.com.
Looking for a dependable job with a great work-life balance? Join the team at Jefferson Lines. We're hiring professional CDL drivers to become part of our team of motor coach operators. Enjoy competitive pay, full health benefits, retirement benefits, travel perks, and more. We're already your #1 bus experience. Let us be your #1 work experience too. Visit jeffersonlines.com/careers and take the first step towards your future with Jefferson Lines today.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Jason DeRusha
He is a national treasure. Like, we need that guy in our life.
on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So I just booked a reservation for a fashion show. I've been to a couple fashion shows before, but Dan, I've never
You've been in fashion shows before.
I've
haven't
been
you?
in. Well, look at me, for God's sake.
I mean, seriously.
Obviously. Minneapolis Club, which is so beautiful, historic, gorgeous. Like, the photos are going to be amazing. May 1st, they're having this fashion show with a bunch of local designers. So pretty cool. Joy Noel, Karen Morris Millinery, Ramadan Designs. Rami is so talented. And then Russell Borean, who I don't know Russell Borean, but sounds very fancy. But the cool thing about events at the Minneapolis Club is like anybody can come. So I'm a member. It's right up the street here from us on CCO. But the bar and the restaurant is open to the public. You can just go to the website and book a reservation. But you can do the same with this fashion show. So Alyssa, I didn't ask. I guess I should have bought that. They have like a package. I suppose I should have done that. Well, whatever. Now that I'm reading the whole thing, I'm like, oh, I sort of messed this up. But they got all sorts of stuff. So check it out. You can go to Joy Noel's website of the Minneapolis Club and book that. It's that simple. So today I went to the doctor as part of my mission. After I turned 50, I've decided I need to go to the doctor like a normal person every year. And so I went to the doctor and she's going through my file. And this doctor, I have a pretty cool situation. Do most people love their doctors? I love my doctor. Our family doctor delivered both of our kids. So very rare now, right? Like everybody's a specialist. You know, Dan, even for my stupid, like with my shoulder hurting and my back hurting, I had to go to 2 different doctors.
Right.
Because apparently you can't just specialize in the shoulder and the back.
No, not anymore. When every time I have a conversation with my folks, it's the 6 different doctors they have to see for all their different various ailments.
So many doctors. Yeah. So Pam Jaworski is my doctor, and she did Alyssa when Alyssa was pregnant. She cared for it was perfect, just perfect. But the only person who really didn't go to Dr. Jaworski was me, because, well, I'd love to hear if you are like me and you hesitated to go to the doctor. What kept you away? 651-461-9226. Why do you not go to the doctor? Even though you know you should get the physical. When I was younger, I used to go for the physical because I thought I was paying for insurance and insurance would cover 100% of a wellness visit. And I was going to get my damn money worth.
That's a good one.
That's why I went. And when I was 28, I remember the first time I went to the doctor my first year here, and the doc was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Well, I pay for insurance. And so, like, I don't know. Let's go." Of course, as I got older, I didn't want to step on the scale and I didn't want to get bad news. Those were my 2
I think
reasons.
that's pretty common. Yeah.
I knew I was gaining weight and I just I didn't want to do it. So I didn't, because I never was sick. Well, as you get older, honestly, turning 50, I was starting to wonder about like what vaccines I needed to get, because I don't know, like, don't you need some stuff after you turn 50? And so the doctor told me, I asked, I'm like, do I need this? Do I need that? And she was like, well, none of this is like, it's an emergency, run on out. But she's like, shingles. You should get the shingles vaccine. She's like, shingles is really bad. It's really painful. You don't want it. It's like, all right. So I go today and she's like, oh, there's one other thing when you turn 50.
Oh, no. You never want to hear the doctor say, oh, there's just one other thing.
And we did the stuff. Like, I fasted all morning. I didn't eat so they could do a blood test. And I just I don't have anything. When they ask for the list of what drugs you're taking, I'm like, I take minoxidil. You know what minoxidil is?
No.
Hair.
Oh, is it the hair?
It's hair
I don't
know.
Whereas when I go to the doctor, they pull out my binder.
Well, you got a lot of stuff.
And then the doctor ends up calling in other people because, you have to see this. This kid's still up and running.
Yes.
That sort of thing. So,
yeah. It's I don't know, it's scary. Like when you don't have the binder, you don't have the stuff. You're like, I don't want to have the binder.
Yeah.
I don't want to know this stuff. If I never test my cholesterol, do I really have high cholesterol? It's sort of the Donald Trump theory.
Just stop testing. And
Don't test.
have as many cases.
You don't know. The one more thing was a prostate exam. Hello. That was a little bit of a howdy do there. I will say that, like, I know that I'm being stupid, but I'm trying to be better. That's why I talk about it. Like, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to go more. I'm trying to go more often, and I'm going to go every year. Greg is in Golden Valley, maybe with more motivation as to why people should go get those checkups. Hey, Greg.
If I wouldn't have went to the doctor when I went, I wouldn't be here right now. I had stage 4 prostate cancer.
Whoa. And did you just go for a regular checkup?
I had another issue.
Yeah.
And I went in and my doctor goes, well, we better take all, your blood.
Do the stuff,
and check
right.
it all.
Yeah.
And my PSA level came back at 39.
That's high.
It should only be like at 004 to 4.
Wow.
I'm at 39.
Wow.
So I hope that she did a PSA on you today and not because the other way, the old-fashioned way, that doesn't work because there is no symptoms for prostate cancer. As you get older, you pee more, and that's about the only symptom.
Yeah.
So you need to have it checked.
That's really. I'm glad you went, and I'm glad they caught it, and that you're still around. How long ago, Greg?
This has been 3 years, so I'm in remission right now.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, thank God. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Greg. Good reminder. I mean, that's what it's about, right? And as you get older, I don't know. I was even talking to the doc about it because she's about my age. She's a little bit older. And
Sure, she appreciates you pointing that out on the air.
She's a little bit older. I'm just saying.
I'm still younger than somebody.
I don't know. It was a good. I'm glad I went. I'm glad. Like, we'll see what the test results are, and you guys will probably have to hear about it. If I have a radio show. We're going to talk.
Absolutely.
I
went, and this was years ago that I finally started going back and doing at least the yearly exams, and that's how I got diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. And so now I'm there pretty much every 3-4 months, just double checking the A1C as we try to get that under control, and then of course all the other things, cholesterol checks, all the other stuff that you got to do. So you just got to do it.
You got to do it. And it was, you know what? It was great. It was great. Yeah. We had a great conversation. Everything got checked. It was great.
It's not so much for me a longevity issue. It's a quality of life issue, right? I don't need to live till I'm 90, but I don't want to be in misery when I'm 70 either,
Austin from Ramsey says, I'm just cheap and hate paying for medical bills. Unless it's bad enough, I'll save my money. I get it.
I get that too.
And then another texter afraid I'm going to get bad news and tell me I only have so many days to live. I know, I'm afraid too. But like, the reality is, if you, your odds are much worse if you don't go, right? Like, just not knowing is not helpful.
Well, and you
don't get a chance.
The prevention thing is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's I understand, I don't want to spend the money and just have them tell me everything's okay, or that there's something minor that, isn't a huge deal.
Yes.
And if you're Greg and they can catch prostate cancer early, you survive.
How great.
And if they don't catch it early enough, you don't. And so would you rather spend the money now or spend way more later?
Yeah. 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 And especially like the doctor was telling me that she's seeing a lot more people with colon cancer at younger ages. And we've reported on that. We've talked about that.
Yep.
So get those things taken care of. 4:32, I got the and I'm right here at work. I'm just fine. We are going to talk about the Trump tariffs. You know what Trump had to say today? And this is not Donald Trump talking about my prostate exam.
They were getting Yippy.
Yeah. That's why we suspended the tariffs. We are going to talk to the head of the Precision Manufacturers Association, because I want to know, look, all of this is to try to get more manufacturing jobs here in Minnesota, in America. What do the manufacturers have to say about all of this? We'll do that next.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRusha coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Right after the show, I'm driving down to Edina to the Galleria to see Kevin and Dean over at J.H. and Sons. It's Jason for the team at J.H. and Sons. We are going to get Sam measured for a suit. That first suit is always so cool. Sam's got high school prom coming up in a month, high school graduation right after that. And then it's off to business school, off to college. And he's going to need a nice suit. And J.H. and Sons is going to help him pick out that suit that will be cool for a special occasion, but also versatile and useful in other circumstances. That is the personal service. These are the best people in the Twin Cities when it comes to menswear. They have been working at some of our great retailers for decades. J.H. and Son has been over at the Galleria just for about a year, but they have been taking care of men throughout Minnesota and the upper Midwest for 50 plus years. It's not just suits. It's not just wedding season. It's not just special occasion. They have got the best linen collection I've seen. Linen red hot for this spring and summer. So go take a look. See the experts. See my friends. Tell them you heard Jason talking about J.H. and Sons.
If you need to sell your home, know that even if you can't time the market out perfectly, your home can still sell for the most money possible. Hey, it's Vanita. That is, if you hire my friend, the Good Neighbor agent, John Schuster, and his team with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Wendy and Brian were living in the western suburbs. They didn't have much time to wait for their home to sell. A lot of stress involved. They'd heard about John here on CCO Radio. They decided to give him a call. It was the right decision. John taught them his blueprint for success, and they followed it. They picked the marketing plan they wanted and got $30,000 over the asking price. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-355-8282. That's 800-355-8282. Again, that's 800-355-8282.
You'll feel better, you'll sleep better, and it's all coming to you for free. That's right. Jordana Green here for my friends at Mini Leaf. Mini Leaf products are free shipping all of April. That triple diamond pain cream is perfect for any pain you're having and maybe even any bug bites or a sunburn that you're having. Want to sleep better? Those Sleep Night gummies will definitely do it. Go to MINNELEAF.com. I use these products. They really help me through my cancer recovery. They help me get off my Ambien. Those Sleep Night gummies are a real charm. MINNELEAF.com. That's minileaf.com. Free shipping throughout the month of April. Tell them Jordana sent you when you go to minileaf.com. Free shipping all of April.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Watching slowdowns for eastbound 494 as you make way past Dodd Road, heading over toward Highway 61, traveling 35 east southbound. Got some heavy stuff there as you move down from Roselawn toward Randolph. If you're going to be traveling southbound 35W out of Roseville, get ready for the delays. Got a semi that has rolled over south 35W at Hennepin Avenue. Traffic down to a single lane, getting by off the left side, but traffic is starting to go backed up into the Highway 36 Commons. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Canopy Group brings us the weather forecast from WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Scattered rain showers back in play tonight, 38 the overnight low. Slightly cooler tomorrow. A cloudy day with a high near 50s. Still some of the scattered rain early in the day. Partly cloudy, 59 Friday. We're up into the upper 60s Saturday. 70 a possibility on Sunday. Breezy both days. We could see some rain on Sunday as well.
Looks like the sun has lingered. It's still around, and that is warming things up. It is currently 60 degrees in St. Paul on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
I think this is just all a bunch of hullabaloo and a waste of time.
You're not wrong.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
S&P 500 is up more than 9.5% after President Donald Trump said that he's going to halt the tariffs on most countries for 90 days. China is still kind of in the middle of this. They don't want to call it a war, but it certainly feels like a trade war. Tariffs on China are up to 125%. They keep saying that China wants to make a deal but doesn't know how to do it. All of this is to try to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States. But high tariffs on aluminum and steel and parts and China and also Mexico and Canada, it affects Minnesota manufacturers. And so Steve Kalina, the president and CEO of the Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association, joins us in the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline, where, Steve, this is a lot of whiplash. This certainly has to have big effects with all of the manufacturers around this state.
You know, we've got about 8,000 manufacturers in the state of Minnesota, and I'd say you got about 8,000 different stories to tell in regards to the tariffs. So, you know, I think in general, most manufacturers are optimistic that there's some positive outcome. You know, in light of today's statements, you know, I think we kind of confirmed our suspicions that Trump was probably, for the most part, trying to make statements internationally, trying to posture. I guess most of us would prefer that we weren't maybe using the chainsaw approach to everything in federal government right now. But you know, I think there's optimism that there's some positive outlook in what, you know, there's some benefit to what we're doing. But the pain factor in the short term, I mean, there's some companies that are feeling the pinch. I mean, especially you know, the larger OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers that are, you know, have overseas operations, that are doing a lot of international business, that are, you know, setting the price for their own products. That puts an immense amount of pressure on them and a lot of unknowns that can cause immediate chaos. Whereas then you go to more what makes up most of our manufacturers in Minnesota are what we call contract manufacturers, the supply chain companies. And so typically, if they get an increase on, let's say, steel prices or different components that they're purchasing overseas, they can just pass those costs along, right? So it's again an unknown and kind of an adjustment, but at the same time they're able to pass that along, and it doesn't have a direct effect. The concern then would be, you know, what's the long-term effect, and if it's going to you know, slow down consumer spending or you know, just overall economy.
Isn't that interesting? I wonder if the overall economic uncertainty that is out there has a bigger impact on Minnesota manufacturers in the short term than whatever some tariff percentage is or isn't, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, there's so many. If you look at a medical device assembly made in Minnesota, there's so many different components and sub-assemblies and things. So, you know, it's the impact on any given component has an effect, and it can change supply chain management and all that. But then, yeah, what's going to happen long term when it actually hits the consumer, and that medical device is going to cost X amount more, and where's how is that going to?
And then what happens, right?
Spending and purchasing.
Steve Kalina is with the Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association. Steve, what I think is interesting about this from your perspective is obviously the stated goal of tariffs is to bring more manufacturing back to the United States, to boost your members' industries, to create more jobs. But the short-term pain, I think it's a real question. If you're a manufacturer, you're like, you have so many questions. One, is this going to work? Two, is the short-term pain, how short-term is it? Three, am I going to be around to benefit out of this? And then four, is this even realistic? Do we have the people? Do we have the know-how? Do we have the sort of infrastructure to really bring these jobs back to the United States? Am I missing any of the questions you guys are facing?
No, those are all definitely great questions. And I would, first statement I'll say is, manufacturers, we thrive on solving problems, right? So I will say manufacturing is here to stay in Minnesota, and we will address the issues, we will solve the issues, and we will make sure that we keep producing products. So that's what we thrive on in the manufacturing industry.
Sure.
That being said, obviously we'd rather not have too many wrenches thrown into that. But you mentioned people, that is a key element. So absolutely, we want to bring more manufacturing back to the U.S. and Minnesota specifically. You look at back during COVID when there were obviously worldwide economic impacts and supply chain impacts. When you look at our supply chain, if it's spread around the world, and we've got a pandemic as an example, that shuts down not just our supply chain, it shuts down our production lines, right? If I don't have a nut and bolt that's coming in from China, I can't produce that automobile or plane or whatever I'm producing. So ideally, as much as we can bring stateside, but at the same time, you hit on it, we need more labor. I mean, especially in Minnesota, we have traditionally the lowest unemployment rate in the U.S. We don't have enough people to produce the products that we're already producing for the most part. And then if we bring more, we're going to have to ramp up. So, I mean, that's what a lot of our focus is as in a statewide trade association, is to try to get more young people into the trades. I mean, we need more skilled people. Of course, that goes into the immigration conversation as well. But that's definitely a bottleneck if we do bring more back. And I'd say capacity wise, infrastructure wise, facilities, that isn't a problem. So if we can increase the people, and obviously that's the overall goal, right? That's the hope of the tariffs, is that we're going to encourage more stateside manufacturing, which isn't necessarily the cheapest, right? I mean, depending on what we're producing, if it's med device, aerospace, ideally we are producing that stateside. But on low end consumer, commodity type products, that's why a lot of that has gone overseas, because they are able to produce it that much cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. Steve Kalina is the chief executive of the Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association. Do you wish they just made a policy and stick with it? Would that be better? Because I imagine you're hearing from your member. Well, that's my second question. Are members making changes? Are they pausing their own plans?
Again, I would say the OEMs are probably, pausing on some of their long-term plans or, expansion plans, things like that. Again, most small manufacturers, contract manufacturers, again, that makes up the majority of manufacturing companies, they're probably not pausing much. I mean, obviously, if some of their customer base is pausing, they're going to feel that. But for the most part, most manufacturers are plugging along and still producing products, and not necessarily pausing. I talked to one manufacturer who purchases a big portion of their product, out of Canada, and so that's in some cases 50% of their build on their product. And so they don't typically mark that up. They just build that into their product, invoice it out. Well, now if you had a 25% tariff on that, as an example, that's an immediate impact on cash flows. And so that's, again, something you have to adjust for. It's a little bit of a fear. You got to figure out how to adjust and watch your cash flows. But in the end, it'll pass through, and then just be a matter of increased cost on the overall production of the goods.
Is there any benefit to your sector for the fact that people are talking about it and thinking about it and caring about it again? I feel like manufacturing in Minnesota, especially, is a part of the economy people sort of ignore.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my wife was teasing me last week because I suddenly became popular with the media, just because obviously this is a hot topic right now.
Yeah.
And no, definitely. I mean, I spoke to 3 high school classes last week alone, and we've got 2 more this week. Trying to bring awareness. We've got a campaign called Minnesota Manufactured, which is just bringing awareness to careers and the trades. And, again, 8,000 manufacturers in Minnesota. Everyone drives by a manufacturer every day, right?
Yes.
I asked kids last week, I said, can you name one manufacturer? And eventually 1 kid out of 3 classes said, 3M, which is a great example. And then I rattled off, 15, 20 that I said, all these names, Polaris and John Deere, Medtronic, Boston Scientific, there's just tons of manufacturing in Minnesota. So it is important to bring that awareness to not only young people and people that are looking to go into different career paths, but also parents, teachers, and just the general community, because it is a key part of Minnesota's GDP. It's a key part of, our U.S. economy and our infrastructure. Without manufacturing, you shut down those, the supplies for household goods, med devices, our defense systems, everything. And if you ship all that overseas to be produced, well, then again, good luck when the pandemic happens or a war breaks out. We no longer can produce or consume the things that we need in the U.S.
Yeah, that's real. Steve Kalina, the CEO of the Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association. Thank you so much, Mr. Celebrity now. Steve is in demand. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. When we come back, Easter candy that I could not find at Target last night. What is your Easter candy that you would go from store to store to look for? 651-461-9226.
Drive Time with DeRusha is hitting the off-ramp for a quick stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, it's Jason here with an invitation for you to change your life. Sounds big, and it is big. Livia was the path for me to change my life. Livia Weight Control Centers helped me lose 45 pounds. And I was at the doctor this morning. I've kept all that weight off. You can get a jump start on summer. Livia is giving you 8 weeks of their nutrition program for free. You can lose up to 20 pounds or more in your first 8 weeks by choosing Livia's award-winning program. The nutritional support is personalized just to you. So they designed the program for a food critic with an active lifestyle with a couple of kids. They'll design the program for your life. Medical weight loss options, they've got them. New technologies like Lipo B12, NAD+, they've got that too. Join Livia today. Get that first 8 weeks of the nutrition program for free at livia.com, LIVEA.com, or call 855-GO-LIVIA. Livia offering GLP-1 medications. You can get accelerated results by summer. Do not wait.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I've got the rake out. I'm cleaning out my closets, and I'm looking at all of my old windows. It's Jason DeRusha for Window Nation. April is such a good time to spruce up around your house. Let's get rid of the old, drafty, ugly, hard-to-open windows and start fresh. Window Nation has an unbelievable deal right now. Buy 4, get 4 free. No limit to how much you could save it if you buy a house full of windows. They're including a free entry door as well. 0% financing, 0 down, no monthly payments. You're getting new windows today and paying Zippo until 2027. So how do they do it? Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation. They're building windows to their high quality specs, and Window Nation passes the savings on to you. You're protecting your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. This sale does end soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy 4, get 4 free. Schedule your free free estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or get to windownation.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Warning, this is not my average commercial. Today, I'm a thorn in the side of bad timeshare exit companies. Over the years, I've seen way too many exit companies pop up, take people's money, and disappear like a bad magic trick. I even saw an ad from a new exit company started by a couple bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire the bozos I fire. If you really want out of your timeshare, contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group. Look, you've heard me on the radio for almost a decade now, and our proven process has helped over 45,000 families get out of their timeshare permanently. Call my office for your free timeshare exit kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-746-3737. 800-746-3737. 800-746-3737.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Linda's Construction, lindasconstruction.com. Semi rolled over South 35W at Hennepin Avenue, and the cleanup is underway. Right-2 lanes shut down. Traffic is stop and go with things down to a single lane. It is jammed and crammed as you come down from Highway 36. Southern West 94, your slowdowns are in place there as move past Snelling. 94 westbound, northwest quarter of the metro. Get ready for some slowing there, 169 to 101. 10 eastbound, got some slowing there, central to 35W. April is a great time to call Linda's Construction. You can get free installation labor on quality leaf card brand gutters and siding. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
The face of Minnesota veterans is changing. For the Centennial Year celebration, DAV of Minnesota invites you to join the ongoing effort to fulfill promises made to the men and women who served our great state and nation. Donate today at davmn.org.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
DAV of Minnesota says scattered rain showers tonight, low of 38. Tomorrow we're at 50. Friday, 59. Saturday, 68. You see how this is moving right now. It's beautiful. 60 degrees in Woodbury on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Let's go through the list. What do you think of Jason?
Absolutely no.
Oh, wow. Kathleen, thank you very much.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Why doesn't Target have the robin's eggs? Alyssa and I go to Target last night looking for Easter candy. You know, the Easter bunny brings a certain amount, but we like to supplement the basket for the kids. Now, we do 2 rounds of Easter candy shopping. Round 1 is for Alyssa. It's the Cadbury mini eggs, crunchy outside, chocolate inside.
Okay.
And we had to buy 2 more bags of those. I'm like, didn't we just buy those? She's like, mind your own business. Fair enough.
Fair, yeah.
So we go to Target, and every dang year, you would think, like, do the Whoppers people have like an exclusive, or like they hate Target? They're mad at,
I don't know.
And it's not that they're mad at the DEI stuff, because I struggled to find this last year too. Mini malted eggs, robin's eggs. Every year it's an issue. Now I know what you might be thinking. Why don't you just go somewhere else?
That wasn't what I was thinking.
All right. Well, how about Target get their act together?
I mean, that would be more on par, sure.
Texter saying I can't find Cadbury eggs, the little chocolate, the mini ones. None at Walmart. There are plenty at Target. Pickle flavored Peeps. I did see pickle.
Oh.
A lot of people get it. The malted milk eggs. It's annoying. I don't want to make 7 stops. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of Target. Do you have a candy that you would go to another store for, Dan?
No. I'm very basic, so the stores have what I want.
Oh, so annoying. Drive Time news coming up.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
All right, if it's going to be so warm over the weekend, I want you to be ready, and I want you to stop by Surdix at University and Hennepin in Minneapolis. It's Jason here for my friends at Surdix, Melissa and Taylor. This great fourth-generation family running this family business has been a part of Minneapolis for so long. So the weather is nice. What are you going to do? You're going to hang out outside. Do you have your favorite Minnesota craft beer? Go buy it at Surdyk's. Do you have your favorite fun seltzers? They got that at Surdyk's. Huge selection. NA. Maybe you want a special NA drink. The selection is unbelievable. More than 200 different brands on the shelf. This time of year, maybe you start switching from the brown liquor to the gins, to the tequilas, to the vodkas. Surdyk's selection is best in town. Their prices are great, too. You can shop online. They'll deliver to your home at surdyks.com. But I like to visit the store and visit the cheese shop and visit the restaurant, and you can do it at Surdyk's.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Up-to-date news, in-depth discussion on what it all means. News Talk 830 WCCO and 102.9 KMNB HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming now on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Tammy McCormick. President Trump has paused some tariffs and the markets rejoiced, but analyst Michael Farr says it's just temporary.
This is just another page in an ongoing story. So hang on to your champagne corks for now.
The Dow soared 3,000 points higher. The NASDAQ was 12% up. Kelly O'Grady of Money Watch.
You are seeing investor relief because the fact that we have a pause means that the tariffs that went into effect at 1201, it's not as severe for companies right now. And there's room for negotiation. There's room for deal making and for things to change in the future.
CBS's Linda Kenyon at the White House.
The president says it wasn't a snap decision.
This was something certainly we've been talking about for a period of time, and we decided to pull the trigger.
By doing so, Trump says his tariffs on most nations will be paused for 90 days while negotiations are underway. China, however, retaliated with tariffs of its own, and the president responded with punishing tariffs of 125%. But even China, he says, wants to make a deal.
I think President Xi is a very smart guy, and I think we'll end up making a very good deal.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Trump said today Israel would be heavily involved in a potential military strike on Iran if it doesn't give up its nuclear program.
If it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be very much involved in that. He'll be the leader of that.
The U.S. is holding talks with Iran this weekend. Tehran continues to insist they are in direct talks. Judges in Texas and New York have temporarily halted deportations in those states, while lawyers challenge the use of the Alien Enemies Act. Legal analyst Laurie Levinson.
There's a big issue for the courts to eventually confront whether this law applies at all, and if so, how.
The law gives presidents the power to imprison and deport non-citizens in times of war. It has been a difficult time for Kentucky, where the floodwaters are still receding. Jim Krasula reports.
It will take years for many in Kentucky to recover from last week's flooding after epic amounts of rainfall. Carl Case owns a barbecue restaurant along the Kentucky River in Clark County, Kentucky.
It's a pretty significant disaster. The lower dining room is entirely submerged. There was 9 feet of water there.
Ricky Harmon lives just down the road. His house was swamped yet again by the river.
Second time in a month. Nobody on the street lost their lives. Things can be replaced. People can't.
Jim Krasula, CBS News.
The Postal Service wants to increase the cost of a first-class stamp again, this time from 73 to 78 cents. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, 60 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. And as the workday winds down, a rally in downtown Minneapolis this hour with federal employees speaking out against job cuts.
Dozens of housing and urban development employees are standing on the corner of 3rd and Washington holding signs that say government workers work for America. Other signs saying that stop the war on America's workforce. I talked to an executive here, Sheldon Reed, who said that these cuts by Elon Musk and the president are going to hurt a lot of people.
Across the board, all federal employees are very shaken. Yes, and it doesn't need to be that way.
In downtown Minneapolis, Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
An emotional rally inside the Capitol Rotunda in St. Paul today with veterans reaching out to lawmakers demanding they be heard. Trent Dilks is with the Disabled American Veterans.
We understand that this is a tight budget year. We understand the fiscal restraints put on the state, but we also understand that underfunding veterans services, veterans health care, and taking care of our veterans is not an option.
Not sure yet how MSP might be affected, but Delta Airlines announcing today a reduction in their domestic flight schedule later this year. Kyle Potter with Thrifty Traveler says the current trade war has created a lot of uncertainty.
Most people are saying, I don't know that I feel confident about booking a flight right now. For the first time since the depths of the pandemic, airlines can't bank on filling their planes. And when they can't bank on filling their planes, they're not just going to eat the losses.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey bullish on Uptown after years of decline following the George Floyd riots, a high-profile shooting, and disruptive construction.
I first will promise that you will see the buds of progress happening this year.
What does that mean?
I think you'll see some small and local businesses
Okay.
open up. I think you'll see some new creative ideas that come to the forefront. You'll see people that are looking to creatively invest in Uptown.
But Frey tells WCCO's Chad Hartman it's not going to happen all at once. In the meantime, he says the city is going to experiment with shutting off the parking meters on a couple of blocks to allow for free parking. That is expected to begin later this month. And this week, our own Mark Frey is looking at downtown Minneapolis, the Skyway system, and how some of the tallest buildings are reimagining the workplace.
As workers returned to their downtown Minneapolis offices during the COVID-19 pandemic, the SPS Tower began reimagining in-person workspaces.
Management was looking for ways to get their people back in the office with carrots, not sticks.
Jim Montez with Transwestern is responsible for leasing the SPS Tower. Part of the reimagination meant adding an outdoor putting green, turf club, and sprawling state-of-the-art tenant lounges featuring pool tables, beer on tap, and even podcasting studios on the 19th and 20th floors.
How do we create an environment that is comfortable like home, but better?
There's also a new Skyway level coffee shop, along with more updates to come from the ground up.
That will really, again, continue to evolve this project and build the ecosystem so that hopefully it'll be really easy for employees to come to work Monday through Friday.
Mark Frey, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Continuing for South 35W at Hennepin Avenue, the scene of a semi that has rolled over, traffic down to a single lane, getting by off the left side. And it is backed up into the Highway 36 Commons. 694 is slow go both directions between 100 and Rice Street. If you're going to be traveling 10 westbound, got your slowdowns near Hanson, and Highway 100 jammed up both directions between 394 and Highway 62. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Line Company I use, B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034. Or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by B&M Tree Service. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The scattered showers return tonight. It will be rain because it stays mild enough. 38 the overnight low. A little cooler tomorrow with a high of 50. We'll have a chance of those scattered showers early in the day. The warm-up kicks in Friday. 59 for the high. 68 the high Saturday. A shot at 70 still on Sunday.
Mostly cloudy right now, 60 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Your station for news.
2022 midterms. There's a lot at stake.
Your station for talk.
I keep coming back to this station, and thank you for what you do.
Your station for everything that matters. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie. Just DeRusha. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching the cool, brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DeRusha.
It is Wednesday, drive time in effect. What a beautiful day. Absolutely gorgeous. It does make you want to get out in the yard and get some stuff done. The Twins, I think, are home this weekend, aren't they? I think they got the Tigers
certainly are,
in
yeah.
town, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I know I was trying to plan out my weekend. I'm like, man, the weather looks real nice for me and Alyssa to go catch a ball game. So that is going up. We've got a Minnesota Twins item in the lead. So why don't we do it? It's time for the D-Rush Hour, and we begin with...
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRush Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight with...
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight. We begin with the lead.
This morning, the President of the United States told us all to stay cool. About, 4 hours later, he said this.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions.
We're all getting a little bit yippy. Country's getting yippy, the stock market getting yippy, and the pause button has been hit on tariffs. Will this calm things down after today's rally? Who knows? Because who knows what tomorrow will bring. The tariffs are still in place against China. And so tonight, when you're hanging out with friends, talking about tariffs, as you do, don't forget that the tariffs on Chinese exports are up to 125%. U.S. v. China. Now, if Donald Trump had started this entire scenario by simply going after China, I do think it would be much more challenging politically for people to say, like, oh, you're cratering the economy, because the counter is, you want to help out China? It's pretty good. That'd be pretty good. I'm no president. I'm no economist. I'm just saying you'd have people in a box. Instead, after President Trump said he was going to stay the course, watching the stock market crater proved too much, and the bond market as well. And so today, Wall Street responded in the sort of rational, measured way we've come to expect the people responsible for the bulk of the wealth in this country to react. And that was like a bunch of drunken 19-year-olds whose parents just went out of town and left the liquor cabinet open. The S&P is up 9.5% today. The Dow Jones, well, that was up what? Up to 40,000? Wall Street, man. I don't know. Do I want my kid to go into finance? I'm not. Well, I do think that some people made a lot of money today. That is for sure. What will happen with tariffs? Who knows? Is this the art of the deal? Come on. Even the president himself said that he changed course because of what was going on.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions.
If nothing else, we have a new word to introduce with our friends if you're a little skittish about something.
They were getting yippy.
Yeah. So that's fun, right? We got to look for the sunshine in life sometimes. And there it is. Time for story number 2. And why not enjoy the sunshine? Chris Schaefer says on Sunday it might be 70. The Minnesota Twins are doing a very sort of non-Joe Mauer thing to celebrate Joe Mauer, and that is draw a lot of attention to Joe. It's happening right outside Target Field on Sunday, and Dustin Morse is with us right now from the Minnesota Twins to share a little bit more about this. Hey, Dustin.
What's going on, Jason?
Before we start, I want to ask you about President Trump's tariff. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Everybody who comes on the show lately who is not affiliated with some sort of political side of things is like, please don't do that to me. Please don't do it. Baseball made in America. Joe Mauer about to get a statue.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of ways to honor Joe and his accomplishments, and we're kind of marching through them all. Retired his number. He's in the Twins Hall of Fame, but not many get statues. And proud to announce that on Sunday we'll officially unveil the Joe Mauer statue outside Target Field, and it'll be the who's who of Twins alumni, and others with statues will be out there. So celebrating Joe and all that he did for the Twins and the community. And it'll be a great photo op, and he and his kids will be out there to see it for the first time. And it's quite a process too, to get one of these made. And it was fun to kind of be on the sidelines as this is right up against the clock here. We wanted to make sure it was going to be ready to go by the 13th. And word is, yes, it is. It'll be installed,
all right.
And we'll unveil it.
The sculptor is from Minneapolis, Bill Mack, and you did see it. Now, I'm sure everybody is, look, there have been some high-profile athlete statues that have been misses. So, like, you don't want Joe to look at it and be like, huh.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the Dwayne Wade.
That's right.
There was a statue out there that wasn't that well received, but no, this process, Joe's been a part of it since the beginning. We surprised him with what we were going to do, and then we wanted him to have a seat at the table. So I worked with Joe a long time. He was probably the most photographed player we've ever had. So we went through thousands and thousands of photos, and he and his wife, they had a homework assignment. They were to whittle it down to about 4 or 5, and he did that. And I'll tell you, when you're good on both sides of the field, both with that sweet swing and what he did behind the plate, it was a question mark. Should it be the swing or should it be him as a catcher? So we let them kind of work through that, and we brought kind of the final 5 pictures to Bill Mack, and we sat and talked through what they would look like. And it was fun to see Joe make a selection. And there was a time where he and his wife were trying to decide if they did go with a catching pose, if the mask should be on or the mask should be off to show that face. So it was a fun process.
Well, what's it going to be, Dustin? You can't lay all that out and then leave us hanging.
I think you got to get there on Sunday.
Oh, come on.
But I think a little tease here. I think he really thinks of himself as a catcher and definitely wanted to pick something with the gear. So it'll be pretty cool to see what this actually looks like, because the amount of steps involved, it's a long process. I went over there with Joe the very first time, and in Bill's studio, it's just thousands of pictures taken of Joe's face and the pose and the picture, and then the gear itself. We were able to pull out some of the original jersey and some of the items that he had on in this picture. And I'm proud to say, I think this one will be well received. It's pretty amazing how close the facial features and the body, the pose, everything. It's a really cool statue that I think fans will take a lot of photos with as they enter Target Field.
Yeah, no doubt. Dustin Morse is the Senior Vice President of Communications and Public Affairs at the Minnesota Twins. And when you look at the other Twins legends immortalized, you're talking Carew, you're talking Killebrew, you're talking Puckett, Oliva, Herbeck, the Pohlads, and Tom Kelly. It's pretty, obviously Joe needs to be there. He absolutely deserves to be there. For him, it's going to be funny, I think, because he and you are around the same age. He's a young guy. That's pretty young to be statued,
Yeah. He joked about that, like it's all these, his number retired. He still feels like he could play a little bit. And then you get a statue. You're right. Usually it's in the later years of your life, and he's such a humble guy. So it's almost a little embarrassing for him, if you will, all the attention that he's getting, but he's a good sport. He understands it. His kids, I think, is what he's most excited about for them to see it. And I think he's going to have them unveil it, which will be a cool moment for the family. And then it's there forever.
It's
And
awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It is cool. I can't wait. Really good. And the unveiling happens before the game on Sunday. And so people can just go check it out. The unveiling will be at 11:30. It'll be like a little bit of a show going on there. But if you're going to the game, which is at 1:10, I bet there's going to be a big line to take pictures with the Joe Mauer set, especially if it's 70 degrees. It's going to be great.
It should be a perfect day. And you're right, 11:30 outside of the ballpark. And we'll have Justin Morneau will be on hand, and Paul Molitor, Tom Kelly, Tony Oliva, and the newest Twins Hall of Famer Corey Koski will be out there too. So It'll be a fun presentation.
Good stuff. Thanks, Dustin. Appreciate it. Dustin Morris with the Minnesota Twins here on The Lead, home of the Twins. We got Twins baseball on the air tonight. We'll take the temperature of the Twins coming up in just a bit when we do our Enough segment. You're welcome to chime in with what you've had enough of. You're fed up. You can't take it anymore. I gave a sample of that by complaining about not being able to find robin's eggs when I was shopping for Easter candy. You can add your enough to the table by using the talkback button. It's just the microphone right next to where you listen live on the Odyssey app to WCCO. Page 2 coming up next for the D-Rush Hour headlines, including a really impressive program in St. Cloud that is having great success getting 4-year-olds back on track. An update on Lifetime and the largest loon in the state of Minnesota. Who do you think that is? Well, obviously it's in St. Paul. We'll talk about that coming up.
More Drive Time with DeRusha is on the way following these messages on News Talk 830 WCCO.
This morning, I almost called Pro Turf because I'm getting excited to get my lawn going. It's Jason here for Professional Turf. I love these guys. Local company, been getting it done for more than 3 decades, based here in Minnesota, owned by a terrific family, and they are going to take care of your lawn and every aspect of that lawn. Let's talk about the weed-free aspect. Right now, you're probably worried about crabgrass. Then you get the bigger weeds, the dandelions. All of us know that having a thick, healthy lawn is the best way to fight weeds, but sometimes you need some extra help on both of those regards. ProTurf will come to your house, give you an in-person estimate, design a strategy using liquid and granular. Most companies use just granular. They know how to get it done. ProTurf also turns on my irrigation system in the spring. I don't mess around with irrigation because I want to make sure I'm not wasting water and wasting money. So I have ProTurf open it up, fix a couple things if they need to, optimize it to make the lawn look good. They're landscaping design all-stars too. When you buy a ProTurf landscaping project, the professional design is no charge. All of this adds up to a different kind of experience thanks to ProTurf. 952-469-8680. You can get them online at professionalturf.com.
Most data breaches don't come from hackers. They come from old laptops and phones sitting in closets. Studies reveal that these neglected devices are a leading cause of data breaches. Recycling your electronics protects your data and the planet. At Electronics Recycling of Minnesota, we offer free, secure recycling services for both individuals and businesses, with certified data destruction options available as well. Protect your data. Protect the environment. Learn more at ecyclemn.com.
If your kids have moved out and you have way more space in your home than you need, you probably asked yourself if it's worth living in a home that big anymore. Hey, it's Vanita. If you're thinking about downsizing, if you're ready, contact my friend, the Good Neighbor agent, John Schuster, with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Peggy and Ray were in this situation. They'd been hearing about the Schuster Group here on CCO Radio and knew John could give them a stress-free experience while selling their home for the most money possible. Peggy and Ray got multiple offers on their home and it sold for a great price. They got to pick their move-out date too, and it's all thanks to the John Schuster Group. That's the kind of experience you can have. Trust my friend. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
I came in over 10 years ago and I couldn't breathe ever. And ever since then, now I can breathe.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventNose.com.
A dry winter can cause cracked, itchy skin and sore throats. Getting a whole home humidifier from Metro Heating and Cooling can help you get in the comfort zone on price and performance. Visit metroheating.com.
Metro Heating and Cooling.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Drive Time with DeRusha. Now video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Dear Rush Hour News headlines, page 2 begins with a successful program in St. Cloud that is helping get 4-year-olds back on track. It's all thanks to the Rotary. But the money doesn't last forever from the Rotary. Let's talk about the program. Minnesota Star Tribune with a great story about preschool for success. So you got at-risk 4-year-olds, and we all know, like, if you can get kids interested in reading and learning in school when they're young, man, it's so much easier than try to get kids who are falling behind when they're in 4th grade. So the Strib visits, and they see a teacher, a paraprofessional, a bunch of adult volunteers as well. It's this 4-year partnership with the Rotary Club of St. Cloud. It launched in 2021. Rotarians have raised more than $400,000 to fund it, and the school district matched it. And what they do that's different is that they take these kids and they get them into the school that they'll be attending in the future, and they get an integrated curriculum with district staff. So lessons, some are simple, like how to take turns with blocks, because sometimes 4-year-olds don't know how to take turns. Those who took part in preschool for success over the past 2 years, so these kids are now in kindergarten and 1st grade, 16% more likely to be on target in early reading skills, 11% more successful in math than those who didn't take part in this program. Studies have shown that kids who attend preschool are 20% more likely to graduate high school, but St. Cloud trying to figure out how they're going to get the money to keep this program going. Tariffs, economic fears. Lifetime is aware of it. They're watching it, but it's not forcing them to slow their roll.
And we want to pump you up.
CEO Bahram Akradi is telling the Wall Street Journal that a widespread trade war could be, quote, nuclearly bad. Nuclear. Bahram said it sounded great. It'd be really bad if not quickly settled. He said he's hopeful that the new tariffs on imports announced by the president and rolled back today would lead to fast deals with other countries. The reality is Lifetime doesn't have the same immediate exposure to tariffs that maybe like a car maker or retailer would. However, the company does have plans to open 10 to 12 fitness centers this year. And so you think about the steel, you think about electrical components, construction materials, and then the fitness equipment, dumbbells, rubber floor mats, those are typically imported too. Akradi said, we're all right. He said, in fact, if there's a recession, no one's cheering for it. Lifetime not cheering for it. But if there is a recession, usually labor costs go down on construction, which could actually end up benefiting the expansion. The largest loon in the state of Minnesota. You know where the largest loon in the state is, right? Obviously, St. Paul. Yeah. So you guys expected me to make like the largest loon in St. Paul. It's at the legislature. I'm not going to do that. I'm better. It's the governor. No, I'm not going to make these kind of lame. I'm not taking the lame joke. The largest loon in Minnesota hosts from noon to 3 right here on WCCO Radio. No, it's the big statue out in front of Allianz Field. So I loved what Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine did with this. They took a look at the loon by the numbers. So the artist is from Scotland who made the loon is called The Calling. Why do you think, Dan, they call the statue The Calling?
Because the loon call is so famous?
I thought that must be it. Yeah. You could play it if you
want. I could, but if I still had it up, but we moved on.
As you moved over.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. This thing is 33 feet tall. The wingspan, 90 feet, which is about a quarter of the total length of the Allianz Field pitch. Metal feathers, of course, it's a loon. They got feathers. 50,000 metal feathers. The bird weighs in at 25 tons. It took 12 flatbed trucks to haul The Calling from Andy Scott's studio in L.A. to the perch in St. Paul. Now, the question I think a lot of us wonder, like, how much did Bill McGuire pay for this dang loon sculpture? He won't say.
Very crafty.
Yeah, he won't say. But I do think it will become an icon. It will become one of those images that when you see the tourism campaigns for Minnesota, that'll be in it. It's all the people swarming to a Minnesota United game, flocking, if you will, with a loon in the foreground. Pretty cool. That's the D-Rush Hour News headline.
I do have the call of the loon back up if you'd like to hear that again.
Great.
So one more time. You ready?
Yeah.
Here it comes.
They were getting Yippy.
Very good. Drive Time continues with Enough in just a minute.
Jason DeRusha and Drive Time needs to make a brief pit stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Do you have a wedding coming up in the next couple of months? Get to JH and Sons at the Galleria. If you do, it's Jason. Make sure you tell them you hear me talk about JH Sons on JH and Sons on Drive Time. We appreciate that because it lets them know that you guys are thinking about supporting this incredible family business. The Halberstadts have been getting it done in Minnesota for 50 plus years. If you go up to Sioux Falls, you'll know that their store is the pride and joy of Sioux Falls. And now they're right here in the Twin Cities, taking care of men who care about how they look, who care about fashion, and care about making memories. Tonight, I am bringing my 17-year-old Sam to JH and Sons. Alyssa and I are bringing Sam over there so he can get measured for a suit for prom and graduation. These are the memories you kind of hang on to. Do the kids care? Probably not. Is it parent? Is it special? Absolutely. Kevin and Dean are going to take care of Sam, and he'll get an unbelievable kind of entry-level starter suit. Now, if you're looking for something more special, because let's be real, we don't wear suits as often as we did, make your purchase count. Get the best brands, the best tailoring, and the best people. JH and Sons is at the Galleria in Edina. You can see them online at jhandsons.com.
What's happening now?
The stock market is a complete fiasco, and when you look at the Twins, the versatility and the depth is great, but we need stability.
What's coming next?
What is the treatment for Trump derangement syndrome?
What it means.
Equivalent to gas prices. Imagine if grocery stores had to put the price of eggs outside the store.
In Jordana's world of rainbows and unicorns, cell phones should not be allowed in school.
Why it matters.
Cutting waste is one thing, but really impacting kids gets me fired up.
News Talk 830 WCCO.
Losing a loved one is hard enough before you have to start worrying about what to do with their things. If you inherit their home and need to sell it, the only call I would make would be to my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster, with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Hey, it's Vanita. Melissa was in this situation. She worked with the Schuster Group to sell a home she inherited. She didn't know what to expect. She was overwhelmed. John's known for selling homes quickly and for the most money possible. He was able to get her multiple offers in less than 5 days. Her home sold for more than $25,000 over the asking price. Melissa had a sale stress-free. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000 or online at johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Financial advice should be holistic and tailored to your life. I'm Ryan Antkowiak, financial advisor with Baird Private Wealth Management and the president of the Financial Planning Association of Minnesota. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning advice for all areas of your life: family, retirement, estate planning, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate with your tax and legal advisors to ensure you have one comprehensive financial plan that makes sense for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdTwinCities.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop in store online. It's a semi that had rolled over onto its side. It is now back on its wheels. It's all happening South 35W at Hennepin Avenue. Right 2 lanes remain closed. Traffic is packed and stacked and backed up into Highway 36 Commons. A lot of folks using 280. That's going to be a bit of slow rise coming out from Como Avenue to 94. If you're up on Highway 36 eastbound, that's going to be a slow ride. Cleveland Avenue heading up toward Rice Street. North side of the Metro 10 westbound, watching some slowing as we move past Hanson Boulevard. Get Easter favorites at Whole Foods Market. Save 30% on no antibiotics ever. Bone-in spiral cut pork hams with Prime through April 15th. Carved into this juicy, sweet centerpiece for your celebratory spread. While supplies last, shop in store or online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Chris Schaefer.
Scattered rain showers back in play tonight, 38 the overnight low. Slightly cooler tomorrow. A cloudy day with a high near 50s. Still some of the scattered rain early in the day. Partly cloudy, 59 Friday. We're up into the upper 60s Saturday. 70 a possibility on Sunday. Breezy both days. We could see some rain on Sunday as well.
Right now in downtown Minneapolis, wow, 61 and sunny on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
That is the number one addiction in America. Is there any doubt about it?
No, I don't think so.
It's not close.
No.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I have had enough. Enough is enough. Enough.
Enough. What have you had enough of? Is it your friends? Is it the computer just stopping to play that beautiful music? I've had enough of technology. I've had enough of the fact that I couldn't find robin's eggs last night at Target. So that's sort of what we're looking for. 651-461-9226. You can also send us a message using the Odyssey app. It's a great way to stream the show if you're in your car. A lot of those heads-up displays, you can have the Odyssey app right on your display. But if you listen using the app, Right next to where you listen live, there's a microphone. You can click it, record your message, and send it right to Dan and me, and we'll put it on the air. Enough is a little fun we do on Wednesday. And last night, in between getting frustrated at Target for not having robin's eggs, we were watching Minnesota sports.
That's a bad idea these days.
Had dinner with Sam. Alyssa made delicious dinner at home. So we're watching the Twins. It actually looked pretty good. Pablo looked pretty good. Nice start for the team. And then
Pablo looked pretty good.
Well, yeah, no hitting. But look, if you're I thought you liked the 0-0 pitchers duel.
If I thought that it was Cole Sands dominating the Twins, yes. That's not what was happening.
That was not what was happening. No. Twins had an injury. Pablo goes out. What do we know what the final news was there?
I have not seen results of any MRI from him yet. They just were calling it a hamstring strain, I believe.
So he exited early. So you're like, well, this is not going well. But at least the Timberwolves are just manhandling the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well,
the Wolves only have a couple of games left before it's playoff time. And yesterday, best case scenario, they could have had the number 3 seed. Worst case scenario, they could have the number 7 seed. So they have a great opportunity. They were up yesterday by more than 20 points, 24 points, I believe. That's an aggressive lead. And of course, because I've had enough of it, you know that the game ended with the Timberwolves scoring 13 points in the fourth period, giving up 40. I believe there were 23 uninterrupted Bucks points. 110-103. It doesn't even look like it was a close game. And the Wolves were destroying them. I have had enough of blowing leads. I've had enough. I can't handle it anymore, Dan. 651-461-9226. What have you had enough of?
See, so mine, I have another one, but I don't want to step on your sports parade here. So
you're allowed.
We'll save that for the second segment.
All right.
Because it applies to the Twins, and we're going to check the temperature of the
we are. Yeah, that's
team.
right.
Oof.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this one is like especially petty. This one is like so minor. Everybody's going to roll their eyes. Why would you dare complain about this? But I'm going to do it anyway.
I love it.
I've had enough of the sun being just that angle that when you're driving home, it's right in your eyes and it's blinding, and you got to have the visor down to the point where you can barely see the road in front of you. Enough. Yeah. Lift it up, son. Let's go. Let's go. I know it's Minnesota. It's spring. We love the sun. I'm not.
This is a very valid complaint.
It's just annoying.
There was a stretch of the year last year where I could not close my garage door because the sun was at this angle right now.
Yeah.
And it would land right in the sensor. And so I'd be trying to close the thing and it would go down. And then as if it were hitting a small cat, it would bounce back up. And it was just because the sun was hitting the sensor in such a way that the sensor thought something was happening.
It's a very sensitive sensor.
I have replaced the sensors.
Don't blame you for doing that.
That may be the problem. Lots of texts coming in. 651-461-9226. Texture from 952. Enough of everybody wanting me to fill out a survey after every kind of phone call and appointment.
That's so spot on.
It's a matter of time before they ask for surveys after leaving a public restroom. Oh,
what happened to the, hey, we'd like you to fill out this survey and we're going to give you a $10 gift card for taking the time? What happened to that? I'll fill out that survey.
So we got a survey yesterday from work. Did you see? Did you answer this?
I saw that survey. Yes.
Well, you saw it.
I did see that survey. Yes.
Every few months, we ask a simple question. How likely are you to recommend Odyssey as a great place to work? It takes some guts for your company to ask that question. I'm just like, I'm going to go through my email right now and put in the word survey and see how many pop up. The one that always gets me is the trash pickup. Like, we have waste management.
They want you to do a survey?
Yes. So, like, obviously, if you call customer service for anyone, like I think I called DirecTV last week because the twin, oh yeah, here we go. DirecTV. Remember, Jason, please tell us how we are doing.
Yeah.
How was your recent DirecTV interaction? Like, you pick up my trash. Like, it's fine. You picked it up. I don't know.
I don't want to specifically be negative, but I'm tempted every time they send me a survey and they don't want to compensate me for my time. Is okay. Well, then I'm going to tell you some things.
That's such a good.
I don't want to be that guy.
Such a good text. Enough of the word reimagine, says a texter. We catch on to a cute word or phrase and pound it to death. That is true.
That is very true. And reimagine's a good word.
I was on a call with a colleague today who slipped into corporate sort of mumbo jumbo.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, it for me, it's like fingers on a chalkboard, you know. Jeff in Sauk Rapids, you're on CCO. Jeff, I always love hearing what you've had enough of. Go ahead.
I've had enough of stupid questions from customer service people.
Like what?
I tried to return some jeans today. And throughout the process on the phone, I was getting return instructions. And the gal noted that I was 2 days outside of their 30-day return policy.
Okay.
And I said, oh, I'm sorry. So I said, well, thanks for your help. And she says, why are you late? And I said, is there an answer that would make a difference to your policy? She said, no. I said, why did you ask?
Like, it would be fine if she was like, why are you late? As a way to like walk you up to the sort of magic phrase you have to say to have it work, right? That would be fine. Oh my gosh.
No, but it says right here on this script that I'm supposed to ask you this question.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
That is hilarious. Thanks, Jeff. That is a terrible question. That is a terrible question. Lots of good texts coming in. We'll share more of these texts when we come back. Keep them coming. And during the break, if you'd like to send us a message using the talkback feature, go ahead. Just go to the Odyssey app where you listen live to WCCO and click on that microphone. Twins baseball coming up in about pregame in about 15 minutes here on CCO.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRusha coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Minnesota Pork wants to be a part of your family dinner. It's Jason here for our friends at the Minnesota Pork Board. So grateful to have their support here on Drive Time and have them with us on CCO. So when you think about Minnesota pork, maybe you go to your grocery store, your butcher shop, and you see it. You look at the label. I don't know. Do you? I always look at the label. This better damn well be Minnesota pork is what I think when I see it. But look at that label and see where the farm is, because that pork chop or that bacon, that is from a Minnesota family. Minnesota family. 3,000 of those farming families in every corner of the state. And I just love how Minnesota pork farmers are working together to use the greatest technology and the resources that they have as a community to take care of their pigs, take care of their planet, and take care of you. Now, high tech, they've got it. Institutional knowledge is what I love. Right now in southwestern Minnesota, the Spronks farm is being passed down to the next generation. Courtney and Seth are taking over from Gordon and Randy. And the Spronks grow corn and beans, and they raise pigs, and they mill their own feed, and they're using the best technology possible. They're using satellite mapping, and they're doing it because they care about their community. They care about this farm, and they want to pass it down to even the next generation. So get that pork for dinner. You're supporting the Spronks. You're supporting 3,000 family farmers. So let's go. Let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight. Oh, yeah.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Harbor Freight knows time is money. So for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. This weekend, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll cabs under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point. So you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025 while supplies last. Limitations apply.
We get it. Attention spans just aren't what they used to be. Heads in social media and eyes on Netflix. But what do people do with their ears? Well, for one, they're listening to audio. Americans spend 4.4 hours with audio every day. Oh, and you want the proof? Well, you just sat through this ad that's now approaching 30 seconds. What could you say to a potential customer in 30 seconds? Let Odyssey put together a media plan tailor-made for your unique marketing needs. Advertise with Odyssey. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code FAST. Swishradio.com, code FAST.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
You know that feeling when you're about to cut into a juicy steak and hope it tastes as perfect as it looks? Well, worry no more. The Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that eliminates under or overcooking your chicken, fish, or meat, whether on the stovetop, oven, or grill. The probe is inserted into your food and connected wirelessly to an app. Once you select your desired doneness, the app alerts you when to take the steaks off the grill or the turkey out of the oven. It's that simple. Order one now on chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Well, we keep an eye on this semi that rolled over earlier this afternoon, South 35W at Hennepin Avenue. Right, 2 lanes are closed, but the semi is back up onto its wheels, but it looks like it's still going to be a while before things are cleared. Traffic remains tight as you come down from Highway 36. 694 remains jammed up both directions between Victoria Street and 252. 610 eastbound, watching slowdowns there, Broadway to 252. Jerry Peterson, News Update 30 WCCL.
In its centennial year, the DAV of Minnesota remains dedicated to helping thousands of veterans access the benefits they've earned. And you can make a difference. Volunteer to transport veterans, advocate for improved programs, or donate today at davmn.org.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather is brought to you by DAV of Minnesota. Here is WCCO Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer's forecast. Tonight, scattered rain showers, low of 38. Tomorrow, 50. Friday, almost 60. Saturday and Sunday, close to 70. It's getting better. Right now, it is pretty awesome. Honestly, 60 degrees here on CCO.
Jason DeRusha.
Who can say that they don't care about something with more passion than me? My passionate indifference is what makes this show special.
On News Talk 830, WCCO.
Are the Twins cooking or on a cooling trend? A hot streak for our big bats? Or have we hit a cold spell? And is the bullpen still bringing the heat? Let's get a read on our hometown 9 as we take the temperature of the team. Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. Never under or overcook your chicken, fish, pork, or beef again with Chef IQ Sense. Get your wireless meat thermometer now at chefiq.com.
Yeah, pretty cool. You use that meat thermometer and hook it up to your phone, and you can kind of cook it and forget it. And right now, if we took the Chef IQ Sense meat thermometer and took the temperature of the Twins, Dan Cook might say, enough.
Enough. Enough of the pitching being ice cold, of the hitting being ice cold, and then the defense being ice cold. You know what I've had enough of? Relief pitchers. I've had enough of relief pitchers walking guys when they're in a close game. I've had enough of relief pitchers not being able to make a basic play. Step off the mound, pick up a ball, throw it to first base. Pretty simple stuff usually, but we see pitchers for the Twins have messed that play up several times so far. I don't know. Supposedly they were working on these things all spring long. It's a fundamental play, but it cost the Twins a ball game last night, and that was not fun to watch. And I've had enough. I've had enough of 3-8 baseball, Jason. Enough.
3-8 baseball is very frustrating. And you're like, all right, we got a long way to go.
It's 162 of these suckers.
And just like the Minnesota Wild said they didn't want to start their season with a bunch of losses because then you're trying to make up a bunch of ground at the end. Guess what? Yeah. Enough is an appropriate response.
Enough.
We are sharing our enoughs at 651-461-9226. Texter, I have had enough of people talking on their phones or earpieces at the gym. Enough. You are not that cool. I have been watching the local news a little bit more lately.
Okay.
And I am surprised how many people get interviewed on the news with like the AirPods.
Yeah, that's a thing now.
Take them out.
Well,
like the reporters are wearing them, I assume. Like I saw a reporter do an on-camera stand-up thing, like the part where they shoot them.
Very important. They got to be able to hear.
What are they listening
I have
to?
no idea.
Just take the ear. You're like,
see, I have the earbuds in to keep people from asking me questions.
Yeah, you do have
That's
the
like, it's no, I don't want to have them in so that you ask me. I want to have them in. So no, I'm sorry. I got a thing. I can't ask you.
Meg in Minneapolis texts in to explain why I can't find the robin's eggs, those malted mini little egg ball things. And Meg says, I can't find them because she's been eating them since they put them out after Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that is kind of.
Yeah, it's maybe if you guys have been eating the Easter candy.
We've got a voice message from the Odyssey app.
Great.
This is Ugel in Minneapolis, who has had enough of
CEOs of major banks, major corporations getting 7, 8, 9% pay increases every year when they're already earning tens of millions of dollars.
It's pretty good. I've had the automatic pay raise. CEO pay is tough. We talked earlier this week. Somebody texted in saying they've had enough of finding out that CEOs of charitable organizations are making over $700,000 a year. Which, you're so clever. We talked earlier this week about the CEO of Second Harvest Heartland. CEO pay, it's one of those things. Isn't it interesting how, like, there's always a frenzy about it? It becomes like a corporate board issue. You see, like, activist stockholders saying, like, we can't pay people this much. It does make me wonder if to really, like, we don't question an elite athlete making an absurd amount of money because it's so obvious to us that we can't do that. You just accept, you're like, that is superhuman skill. Is it possible that that is also true when it comes to CEOs?
It's a fair question.
I don't know.
Gabriel is listening and sent us a voice message, and he's had enough of.
I've had enough of advertisers that send an email and a text message. And on top of it, they're the exact same words. For example, PSD underwear. Stop imagining me in my underwear.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not good.
And they make you sign up, like if you want to save the 10%. It used to be sign up for our email list and we'll give you this discount code for 10% off. Now it's, and give me your phone number. And give me your social security number. Enough. All right, let's get a Twins win. Twins in action. Pregame coming up in minutes here on CCO.
Remember how crazy selling a house used to be? Spending months getting it ready and letting strangers in for open houses?
Hey, let's talk about professional turf. It is that time of year as the weather starts to change. I know this weekend with nice weather, you guys are going to want to get out on the lawn. I want you to reach out to the experts at professionalturf.com, ProTurf, Minnesota company. They have been around for 30 years, locally owned, great local family. They will come to your house. They will do an estimate. They will make sure you get the best kind of granular product, the best liquid product to make your lawn weed-free, thick, green, healthy, and ready to rock. They'll take care of your irrigation system, and they've got the best landscape designers in town. Don't neglect your landscape. If you've got the same stuff from when you bought your house, it is time to call ProTurf. Go online to professionalturf.com or make that phone call to 952-469-8680.
Hey, WCCO listeners, Henry Lake of the Lake Show here for Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. And look, springtime, it's here, and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your